government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
And we are live. Anonymous Bites back on the February 18th, 2021. We're back in action. I kind of wanted to talk about what's going on in Texas. Alamo would have some more to know what's going on about that, because what I'm hearing on the news is it's pretty bad.
It is, yeah. It's a major failure, that's for sure. Like I was just telling you guys, I'll never brag about this state ever again because this is pathetic. All you have here in San Antonio, you got energy officials and the water. They're like pointing at each other, and even Greg Abbott. It's like you got all the elected officials like pointing at each other, and then just all this silly talk. It's really pathetic. They don't take their job seriously. Getting people killed. I mean, there's already reports, some here in town. I'm in San Antonio, but I got a buddy up in Dallas. He's already saying it's in the hundreds. So that's going to be bad. It looks like old folks, frozen in your home. People are disabled, things of that nature. It's a shit show. Political shit show is going to be the cover-up that comes after.
Yeah.
But there's really no excuse, for an entire grid to go down when you allegedly have extra capacity, and then they like to blame the windmills for some reason. But hey, there was a mild storm coming through, so that should have been a plus. You had some wind there, so I'm not buying any of it. I don't see any reason like 40% of the people in the state, are without power for multiple days. It's just it doesn't add up.
It really sounds like California when it gets windy.
Yeah, and then the price manipulation, they're already talking about some of these, like the kilowatt hour price went up like 10,000%, and get ready on your power bills. I mean, this is going to be a hijacking, man. I can see it already. And especially, I want to see it. I really want to see what happens here, because allegedly our utility owns all their own, production and whatnot. So I want to see if that's true. There's no reason for our bills to go up because they allegedly own the power plant. But some of these other places, like when you're on the open market, you're going to get fucked, man. And then as far as water, let's see, that's another one. The geniuses at our water plant here in San Antonio forgot to wire it to dedicated circuits. I mean, that's the excuse. That's hard to believe you could get through any kind of permitting without that, but that's what they're saying. And in a condescending way, blaming people with broken pipes as for all the loss and pressure. I mean, it's really quite disgusting. If you know anything about anything, these guys are just coming up with total bullshit answers for why they fucked up so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've had 20 years of listening to PG&E executives give just the weakest, lamest non-answers and condescending bullshit every time one of their massive, easily avoidable fuck-ups results in a loss of life and destruction of property, and fucking, at least in the case of the San Bruno explosion, the decimation of the better part of a city block. And still, no one at PG&E has ever gone to jail for any of that. I can't imagine anyone involved on an administrative level with this. This is a catastrophe so big now with a number of lives lost that there's no equitable justice that you could even get out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't extract a punishment from individuals that will ever equate the fucking loss of life and damage done to Jesus, man. How many people lost a fridge full of food in Texas? Do you think?
Oh wow! I mean, it's in the millions.
Because this is shit we go through
it's-
here in the mountains all the time, and we tell newbies to the mountains, like, you're gonna want a large igloo cooler, or you're gonna want a generator, you're gonna want this, you're gonna want that, and fucking sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't. But I don't I know personally how much it sucks to fucking lose your fridge full of food. Happened to me once.
Yeah. No, I know the guys out in California. They always had an RV ready, in case they had to get the hell out of there quick. The guys that were really prepared. And for my own sake, I've got being the right wing extremist prepper. I'm in pretty good shape here, honestly. It'd be hard for them to hurt me for quite a while, but the rest of these people, they're all good natured and think everything's being taken care of for them, and they're the ones that are going to be sucking wind. Yeah, I mean, gasoline's getting hard to find now. It's just, I mean, this is like a total failure, man. You're losing like 1/5 of the refining capacity in the U.S. is still down in Houston. So I mean, prices are going to be going up.
That's
You
what
can't get
actually,
the
that was
food's
weird.
wiped out in the store. It's like unbelievable, man. This is like the COVID nonsense times 2 or 3.
Yeah, how could 40% of a state, how many, isn't there like 30 million people like in the state, right?
Yeah, pushing 40 now. Yeah, it's upper 30. So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
one
I
of the
mean,
more populated states, and half of them don't have electricity in deep freeze.
yeah, man. I mean, you just work the numbers. I mean, if even 1% of people aren't going to make it, I mean, it's going to be a huge number. There's just there's no way around it. So I expect there'll be a cover up. Of course they're going to cover up like how many actually died, but it's if what I'm hearing from my buddy up in Dallas is true, I mean, it's just the first reports are outrageous.
Isn't this like one of those situations like where they should send in the National Guard and like set up like tents and heaters and generators and shit?
Yeah, I think Abbott's finally getting around to it.
They should have
And we were given all the
thought of that.
insurances, I mean, it's like, come on, this, okay, South Texas, all right, we don't get that cold very often, and it's a once in every 30-year event, whatever, but Northern Texas, I mean, it's cold all the time up there. Why they lost power is beyond me. The whole thing just smells of rigging, and it's almost like they're doing another Jade Helms psyop or something on the state of Texas. This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I was even seeing pictures where some of the water towers were frozen and then cracking and spilling out all its guts. Uh,
Yeah, it's like they let them run dry, and then, I mean, come on, it's like how hard is a water pumping station? You got an inlet pipe, you got a pump, and you got an outlet pipe, like a pressure valve, pressure regulator. I mean, it's not that hard. If you can't keep that shit running, you just have your head up your ass. That's just all there is to it. I mean, it's just easy. You have to be, wantingly want to screw up to do it this bad.
it's gotta be so ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, it hit all the big cities. I mean, I heard a story out of Austin where, like, for a whole day there was no power even in the downtown area. There was literally no way for the police. Radios went out. It's like there was no police for almost a whole day up there because they were so fucked up.
I would have just left the state by now. You know,
Hey,
like
I mean, it totally changes my outlook, man. I mean, this is like one more nail in the coffin. I was already working on getting out of the city. I've been sick of this city for a while now, but I mean, this is it. And then to watch these chuckleheads we got for, supposed energy authority and the fucking water system, tell us the shit that they are. I mean, it's just like, no way, man. I mean, I'm not going to be putting up with that. I'm out of this motherfucker.
yeah, there's gonna. I just smell lawsuits, especially for the loss of life.
Oh yeah, I mean, they need to march these people straight to jail.
Kind of like
You
what
just
they did.
can't get away with it.
My hope for at least on that front is that there's enough people within the legal system in Texas that got fucked over as a result of this that they'll actually hold somebody accountable. That it won't just be a fine that somebody, the cost the company 8 hours worth of profit that it takes fucking 8 to 10 to 12 years to extract out of them, because that's what we're used to here. Whenever there's a PG&E related fucking court case. Do you think that, what do you think, Alamo? Do you think that people will actually be able to successfully litigate against this? Like, because look, man, Joe Rogan's bitching and Joe Rogan's got like $100 million to throw around.
Yeah, he just moved out here, and I told him I've been warning people. It's like, man, you're gonna, you that Texas is not what it used to be. That's about the best way I can describe it. This state is not what it used to be. Of course, you could say that about this whole country is not what it used to be in the 1970s or 1980s. That might be the period where America last had its shit together. It's just not like that anymore. You're just seeing all this, stolen elections. You got troops in the Capitol. You got a fucking Texas grid goes down. Like a third world country can't even keep the water flowing. I mean, this is ridiculous. How can that all be happening at the same time unless you've truly collectively lost your mind? I don't have any way to describe it. And then people, it's like they don't know how to get a campfire together. I mean, yeah, people were burning there's reports of people burning furniture, to keep warm. I mean, it's just like, holy crap, man. Massive failure. And it seemed to spread for a while to this, like there was the U.S. Central Grid put out an emergency like a day or two ago too. And it's just like, well, how come they're having trouble? What's up with that? And it's all fraud, man. It's just a bunch of shysters, rigging electric markets and criminals and these private public foundations and that kind of run things, but they're not responsible, but yet they get to tell you what to do. It just, that's the kind of Mickey Mouse government we have.
I mean, like in California here, they don't upgrade shit. Like we had in that fire that took out Paradise, they had lines up there that hadn't been upgraded in like 100 years, and I gotta kind of figure it's the same in the rest of the damn country.
There's a lot of if you look down the list of who was really losing power and all, a lot of the little co-ops in the rural areas were doing a lot better than in the cities. They might have been losing, typically you might think maybe 5 or 10%. It wasn't too bad. It was all the big cities that were getting hit. 30-40% of their customers don't have power. And it's outrageous. How can you just lose that much of the grid all at one time? I mean, okay, is it like every windmill is frozen? I'm not believing that. Because I mean those things run all the time.
I saw one where it looked like they needed to send out a helicopter de-ice it, but for all of them to fail at the same time is like kind of not probable.
Nah. Nah, man. If you've ever driven out West Texas, I mean, there's literally thousands of them out there. They're all over the fucking place.
Man, those things run in like Antarctica, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's the kind of condescending horse shit that we're getting from the governor and ERCOT managers. And then it comes out that like these guys that run this ERCOT uh, public-private entity don't even live in the state. I mean, I mean, I don't, who the hell are these people? You know, maybe we'll get to find out now. But you know, they monitor everything and tell you what to do, but then when they fuck up, they're not responsible. So, I'm not believing that either. I think they are responsible and they're going to eat shit here pretty quick because you got like 15, 20 million Texans that are pissed off at them. You know, I mean, if just 1% of them do something, they're in trouble. So fucking Texas Rangers and the rest of these oath breaking cops, you better go out there and do something.
Have they even restored any power anywhere? Or no, it's just it's been getting worse.
No, it's I mean, we've had power for about a day now. I get, you know, we're pretty lucky. I still know a few people that it looks like the power's coming on. Water's taking a little longer. But what's weird about it is, I mean, like a day ago, they were telling you, well, these rolling blackouts are going to keep going on for like a week, and we don't know how long it's going to take to get back to normal, and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, in one day, everything got magically better. So one, I think there's like some propaganda going on. You know, you look at like our city utility numbers. You know, they went from like a 250,000 without a power, and now they're saying 5,000. Well, I don't believe that. You know, I think they're fudging the numbers on top of all the other lies they're telling. It just doesn't make sense. Then they got Ted Cruz. He, you know, Mr. Optics. You know, you fly out. Your state's totally fucked up. So what do? You fly out with your kids for a Cancun vacation. I mean, you know, these motherfuckers are all about optics. And there you go doing stuff like that, and then you're surprised, like, oh yeah, there's cameras around taking a picture of you. It's like, yeah, what the hell are you doing? You know, everything's crashing and burning in the state, but you take off. It's
I think he said he's not going to run again.
Yeah,
yeah, and
he's
that's a great example of rhino leadership down here. A rhino equals a Democrat basically. There's really no difference. They're all communists as far as I'm concerned. You know, so I'm never going to vote for a Republican or a Democrat ever again, except in like super rare cases. I'm just not going to do it. And I'm never going to recommend the state of Texas to anybody ever again because they've just proven how full of shit they are. So, and I'm out of this city, San Antonio. You know, it might take me a while, but I'm out of this motherfucker because this is ridiculous.
Is this where I yell about dead air, Steve?
yeah. I didn't have any other topics. I misread the message before the show, so it's Alamo. It's kind of like one of those shows that we did like 2 years ago. We're like, what do you want to talk about? No, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, there's always plenty to talk about. You know, there's no shortage of corruption and shysters and the rest of the fraud that goes on. That's just normal nowadays. That's really the new normal. You know, with COVID and all the rest of it's just a cover up for all the shysters and banking, stealing the banking money and the rest of it. It's all good in pretendia, where we pretend that everything's great and we're the greatest country on earth, and we're not really the third world shithole that we've turned into with a military on the streets in your capital. You know, that's not who we are.
Well, yeah, I mean, America likes to portray itself as though it is a first world country, but I've read the what was it called? It was a famous essay. It's called "The Fall of Empires and a Survival Guide," and that's literally what's going on in America for the last, I don't know, I don't even know how long it's been in decline. Maybe since the early '90s, maybe even longer. It's been a cascading effect. Am I
I
wrong?
mean, you don't like your access to freedom?
I know. I mean, to me,
Get your permission slip. Yeah, there's a permit. You need a permit for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Remember when they were 2 years ago? No, this was 3 years ago when they were trying to put out permits. It was after the whole thing that happened when Trump was elected the first time. There was a lot of people that were trying to pass these laws where you would have to the I remember you had to register to protest. They wanted you to register to protest in certain states. I think it was Arizona and Michigan were trying to do it,
Hmm.
and they wanted you and they wanted here was the reason why they wanted you to register, because they wanted somebody to be financially responsible if a riot had broken out. So what's the point
Mm.
in protesting the government if somebody has to be a fall guy? I'm just not seeing the logic there. Um,
No,
Well,
it's
that's
just a. I mean, it means that the added threat of being sued by the state and individual property owners, it now just gets incorporated into the risk of showing up to a protest, which is ridiculous.
well, I
I
think
mean, we're all going to be domestic terrorists the next time we go to a protest anyway.
Well,
You know
I've
that,
always
right?
been I've always been against, destroying your own hood during a protest. I mean, if you're gonna destroy mom and pop's fucking shop during a protest, then I don't, you know what I mean? You're just destroying your own neighbor's income.
How much of that is people who live in that neighborhood, and how much is agent provocateur?
I honestly don't know the numbers, but when the protests were going on down here, I can tell you one thing, that the people that were doing the shit and robbing the stores and all that, they were locals.
I mean, I will give you that once the window drops,
Yeah.
then you know.
Well, it was an Apple
Uh,
store. Everybody wanted an iPhone, but like,
yeah.
you steal an iPhone that's not activated. It's like, I don't well, I guess if it came out of the box, from the back of an Apple store, it wouldn't be locked. So I guess, yeah. If it's, I guess you could, try to make a few bucks off of it. Uh, I don't know. Like what we were seeing in uh what was it, Montana, right? Some of the protests. Remember where there was a guy that was all head to toe with a hammer, busting out windows in random shops.
Hmm.
Like that stuff. That stuff's highly questionable. That's provocateur stuff. Probably not a local.
Well, didn't they find out that that guy actually was an off-duty cop?
I think so.
Like that particular guy got fuck. I'm pretty sure that incident, that dude got exposed. You know what? It, the the ratcheting up of the division has actually blown back on the police a little bit in that way, because now that they've fucking gone so deep on this snitch culture shit, we're getting more and more cops ratted out, and more people are finding out like who the actual agents provocateur are,
I
Yeah.
mean
because
that guy
they
you're
went so
talking
deep
about,
on.
that guy you're talking about, I think his like wife or his ex-wife ratted him out.
Really?
It's fucking awesome. It's great. Fucking cops.
Fuck snitches though.
For real. Like that. Yeah, we had to answer that, I think, last night, right? Fucking, was that Thor? That had the fucking, why is the difference between a whistleblower and a snitch?
Oh, Thor was on here
Like,
last night.
no, he was in the chat.
Oh, okay.
He was in the chat. But yeah, and the difference, by the way, in case you missed that, the difference between a whistleblower and a snitch is a whistleblower is providing information to the public that helps take down people in power, whereas a snitch is providing information about the public to the people in power so that they can continue to abuse that power.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really actually cleared anything up or not, but I hope it did. I hope it did.
It sounds reasonable to me. Where's Lubers
Yeah, we
at?
got confirmation on the ex-wife ratting him out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. That's like instant karma.
26 watching and 14 people on the like button. Come on, you fucking slackers.
Well,
You like yourselves better than that. You do.
I mean,
You get
unfortunately,
your own little dopamine hit when you hit that like button. You reward yourself by hitting it. You do.
but due to the nature of this show, we've noted, we're never gonna make the carousel. We've already established that. They've already nuked. I think one time we had like 25,000 like subscribers or something,
Mhm.
and then was it 14? I think it was 14,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, and then they just nuked it without telling us why.
Yeah.
I think the one time they gave us a warning for running. It was like 30 seconds worth of copyrighted material. And I was just like, what's copyrighted? Like, we had permission from everything for the intro and whatever. So everybody was okay with it. So, like, what crazy fucker called that one unless it was like auto reported from like YouTube? So, like,
Uh-huh.
third time we're like we got banned. The account was like the channel was like shut down. So I don't know, YouTube is becoming like a really weird zone where like you can only talk about like certain things, and it's even getting worse in like the science and education stuff, because a lot of the cool part about science is that some stuff blows up and that gets kids interested in science, and then some people's science channels have been shut down because they're too dangerous for YouTube.
Yep.
Well, I mean, how else are you gonna get a kid interested in science if it doesn't blow up? I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I do. I do. Know precisely what you mean, man. Look, I have a friend of mine that I grew up with whose dad was a science teacher, and now Brian is himself a science teacher. And their whole fucking thing is you have to make something either blow up or look like it's going to blow up with smoke pouring out of it on day one, or
Yep.
else you lose the entire class for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. Like,
Well,
and-
what
Go ahead.
YouTube, YouTube, we can't look at an Alphabet Inc. company as anything less than a part of the U.S. government at this point. There's no daylight between Alphabet and the government, none. And YouTube is not only the world's largest video platform, but it's also the second largest search engine in the world. Second only to Google, which is also an Alphabet company. So when they censor material like this, or they're deliberately removing material because it's quote unquote, harmful, then they're trying to steer, they're just trying to steer interest in a particular way. They're just trying to make sure that like the quote unquote harmful content that you get desensitized to is seeing police violence and seeing military violence and shit like that. Seeing intriguing stuff like science that may lead to critical thinking? No. No. Not in a Five Eyes country.
I would think in an age where society is becoming a little stupefied, you'd think that they would want them to learn something, but maybe not.
Man, Mike Judge was like way ahead of the game on Idiocracy.
Oh yeah, with Beavis and Butthead.
No, Idiocracy. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh yeah, the movie. Yeah. It's kind of. I said that analogy about a year ago. That's kind of what's happening, you know.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
What gets me like these media people, like when they're interviewing these blowhards down here that run these agencies, it's like they can tell them the lamest crap, and because the media people really aren't that smart and don't know nothing, they don't know how to come back with a question. If they knew a little science or math, I think they'd be smart enough to weed fairly quickly weed through the BS and ask them a really good follow-up question. But they just shake their head, little bobbleheads, and then just accept the bullshit of the guy, and then regurgitate it as if it's the truth. It's like they don't even fact check, or I mean, they're not smart enough to even know what the hell to ask sometimes. And then you make these guys look smart because you just parrot the crap that they told you when it's total nonsense.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you got everyone in government. Like we were talking about on Slow News Day recently. Is that one guy who was like, the internet is a series of tubes. Like the people making the laws, fucking stupid, man. Like they don't know shit about the internet or any of that crap.
Oh god, yeah.
Congress is mostly lawyers. Mostly. It's been fashionable in the last couple of years to elect a teacher. And in the case of Sandy Cortez, someone who played a bartender for a year. But mostly lawyers. And I can't say this enough. With enough stimulants and basic rote memory, anyone can pass the bar. But stimulants. Stimulants. That's what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Sometimes it's Adderall.
Sometimes.
I know plenty of people who could only afford the poor man's cocaine.
Man,
so that's how.
I worked for lawyers for 6 years. It's a little from column A, column B, or both.
Well, once you pass the bar and once you get hired on as a lawyer, then you can afford the cocaine, certainly. But sometimes in order to get the bar, you have to do the poor man's blow. And so you get the Adderall. But basically, with enough coke or Adderall and rote memory, you can pass the bar. It's what you do after that determines whether or not you're a good lawyer. But more or less, anyone can become a lawyer. You just need a plug and the ability to remember some shit. and so when that's the bulk of your legislative body, you start out fucked. You start out with people who are trained not to listen, but to respond in order to debunk or dismiss. You get people who are taught not how to win cases based on the truth, but on the best bullshit, especially if it comes down to jury trials. Your argument, and I've had too many lawyers tell me this, winning in court has very little to do with law and your ability to write your argument, everything to do with your ability to write your argument. So in terms of making decisions that affect the lives of an entire country, these people are trained to do everything but the right thing. That's our starting out platform, pretending that Congress actually legislates and wields power and aren't the well-heeled spokesweasels of the oligarchy.
Well, if you're a smart, allegedly these cities are incorporated, so you're supposed to be a company after they've changed America into a corporation. So run it like one. Even if you're a lawyer, go find some experts and let them hash it out and tell you what the answer is. You don't, as some schmuck lawyer, rely on some agency full of bureaucrats to come up with some answer, and then as if that's legitimate. If they're just more bureaucrats and more legalese folks, you people don't know enough about the physical world to make correct decisions. It's obvious now. So, run it like a good corporation. Go find some experts, take the best advice and then do what you're supposed to. Instead of creating all this criminal activity and fraud and private public partnership agencies and all this nonsense, it's like, just, it's like a utility. It's not that hard. Pumping water, it's not that hard. We've talked about this with Flint and all the rest of it. It's just like, what the shit's going on? You can't even have, clean flowing water in America. Why is that so hard?
I mean, most of these experts, they're all bought themselves, and their companies are buying Congress and shit. So it's all one big club.
Yeah. When you don't do what you're supposed to, this is what happens. That's all I can say. It's like if you, even in your own life, if you go binge out on drugs or, you fuck up your job, well, it's got consequences, right? I mean, you just can't do whatever you want and feel good and believe it's going to be all right. It doesn't work that way.
I mean,
it might for a short time, but
that's why our government doesn't fucking do anything, because they've never had to face any fucking consequences for the people.
Ever. Really?
not in a long time.
We have the exact same problem with organized labor, and that is like 80 years ago the union bosses sold out to management, and now they tell workers how they're best going to serve management instead of the other way around. If we just got back to the basic concepts of what organized labor was, which is, a decent, safe workplace, an equitable wage, and manageable hours, or we're going to grab the owner of the company, drag them out into the street, and beat them to death in front of their wife and children, then perhaps collectively bargaining for the things that I just described at the beginning of this would sound more reasonable, instead of like the bullshit that we have to do now.
Oh, you mean the flag?
Or we
and
could
banner
totally
waving?
redefine work and eliminate money and just kind of like come together as a community every once in a while to make sure we all live in a sustainable place, and then go fuck and maybe go fish afterwards. I don't know.
I mean, this system.
Either way. I'll tell you what, though, I could go for like 6 hours of helping build a house or something like that, and then for a blowjob in a fucking little couple hours on the lake. Seems like a nice day.
I mean, who doesn't like a good blowjob? I mean, especially if you're a guy.
Oh my god! I like log. Yeah, the first thing I heard was the word blowjob.
Welcome, Mark.
Okay, Sorry for the delay.
Well, I bet you feel like you're back in Catholic school now, don't you? No, I'm just fucking with you.
Catholic school. I don't think we even have that in my country.
Really? God, that must be nice.
I don't think we have it. Like I mean, fucking what am I? I mean, in their list. I mean, I'm from Sodom and Gomorrah. I think this is Netherlands.
The Sodom and Gomorrah? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm from Sodom and Gomorrah in their list. I think.
That's fucking funny. That's funny.
Hey,
Bill Maher is a schmuck. I want to make this perfectly clear, but there's a scene in his documentary, which is less of a documentary and more of a roast, but where he's standing at the physical site of where people believe the biblical Gomorrah was, and he tells a story from the Bible, which is when I think it's Lot. He offers up his two daughters to a mob of heathens, so that they can rape his daughters, because the other option was they were going to rape the angels that showed up, because that's just how Gomorrah got down. So rather than have his town be known as the place that rapes angels, he decided to trade out for his kids. And that's the religion. Like, that's a real thing that happened in the religion, or at least in terms of their own folklore. And I'm trying to imagine, like, modern day Hollywood making an Old Testament adaptation and coming across the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and just how different that would be. Because Sodom would be like, and Gomorrah really would be like, oh, it's Vegas. We love Vegas.
What's wrong with Epstein's Island? I mean, come on.
Right? Like from the perspective of a current script writing factory.
Now, speaking of Epstein's Island, there's the one he ran was Little St. James, but I mean, I've heard reports that they got an even bigger compound on the Greater St. James, and construction is still continuing. Even while he was in the pokey, somehow this money just keeps flowing to the construction company. Building their new compound.
Look at the allowable parameters of conversation around Epstein, and they are: Epstein killed himself, Epstein was murdered in that cell. But the allowable parameters of the conversation end inside of that cell. If you ask whether or not it's possible that, given all of the background information that we know about Epstein and that network and the people who were involved in it and the list of names from the Black Book on the Lolita Express, knowing what we know, if you ask whether or not it may be possible that the face of a global sex trafficking operation with ties to the CIA and the Mossad and MI5 and the British royal family, if he was in fact removed from the cell and then duct taped to a chair in a Mossad safe house until all of the compromising material and shell companies and safe houses and stash spots were extracted from him and then taken care of somebody who got caught twice would be, then you're not supposed to have that conversation. That's the one you're not supposed to have. But you can make Epstein didn't kill himself jokes all day, every day. And like that gets boosted on social media.
Tyler, did you forget to add in the title for you?
I'm not suggesting that Epstein's still alive. I don't think that somebody who gets caught twice gets to do that. I'm suggesting that Epstein had a vast network of shell companies of different houses, different fucking like extraneous trafficking. I don't know, but vehicles, I guess, means of conveyance for things like that. And that an interested party like the CIA or the Mossad would want to extract that information before they dealt with their problem.
Yeah.
But that the problem would be dealt with. You don't get to like disappear and get a vacation house in New Hampshire and have like fake pictures of you at an In-N-Out burger in LA show up in the press twice.
Yeah, unless you're plugged in. Well, it just exposes what's really going on. You know, it's so corrupt that you can't even protect the kids anymore. You get to know about it, you get to have it rubbed in your face, but you don't get to actually do anything about it.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I don't think this is a new phenomenon, though. Like,
Oh man, even
it's
in
always been like this.
in Whitney Webb's Epstein series, she connects this specific network back to the 20s and the formation of the crime syndicate. And then also the Bronfman family. One of the Bronfmans was arrested as part of the Nexium cult.
If you're talking about an Epstein network, at least like the Prince Andrew connection stuff, they go way further back than the 1920s. I'm not talking about Epstein specific, but like Prince Andrew and stuff. The royal family, British royal family, goes back to Lewis Carroll and Alice in Wonderland. So just saying that was a pedophile too, and that his works are featured in the royal museums in the UK.
Yeah,
So
Lewis
gross.
Carroll was a sick fuck.
Yeah. It's European royalty, so I'm not sure. The Epstein network doesn't go back that far, I guess.
What about Maxwell, though?
Yeah, no, that's fair to say. Her dad was a very big media guy in the UK, right? Robert.
Dude,
Yeah.
her dad is all tied up in intelligence agencies, all kinds of shit.
Got a state funeral in Tel Aviv because he worked for the Mossad and also owned what, the second largest or the largest newspaper in the UK at the time.
And he did all the promise stuff and all that too, right?
He sure did.
Thank you, Whitney Webb.
Yeah, right. I got her permission to cartoon her and make a Whitney Webb is always right shirt.
What?
Tyler, you had like
So
the old
we-
title still
Yeah.
in YouTube. The old title is still there. But should I should have edited?
Oh, what did I do?
It has the old title of the stream we did earlier, like yesterday. The close for Assange thing. I think.
No, it doesn't.
What? I changed
Oh, that's
everything.
fine though.
Oh, you changed it after going live then? Because on Twitter it shows like the old title and stuff.
What? Shit, really?
Yeah. Or maybe it's just
No,
the
on my
description.
end. No, on my end, I changed it on the back end, but YouTube has some really weird thing, but like there's some sort of bug where Restream doesn't like, oh, fuck, my bad. I see.
I see it as it's just a description. I think
Yeah,
it's just a description.
because there's like two of them going live right now, and I don't know which one is the main one. Oops, I just noticed that.
Don't worry, I'll add it to the description. I just logged in into the YouTube. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I do some really stupid shit.
I feel you.
Yeah, like I misspelled a few guest names wrong, and they were like important. Or I, yeah,
I have
one
done
time-
that.
Yeah. Or one time my microphone wasn't on, but everybody else was. Everybody else's was.
I remember that day you were robbed on air.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Sort of. I mean, after.
What?
Yeah, I got robbed on the air. So like, I was I don't know, I was living in a pretty bad area in the ghetto, and like, my roommate was like bitching about something. So like, I was like too loud or something. So I just like left my laptop there and just like would dial in from like my car and just stay in my car. So I went to my car and I noticed the door was open. This happened while I was live, and then you hear me like arguing with this guy over like how much money he's gonna get, and then why you can't have my cell phone and this and that, and then like he was pointing a gun at me the whole time, and basically I just like paid him to go away, and I said like dude, he's like you're gonna call the cops on me, like I was like I don't want to deal with this shit any longer, like you just need to fucking go. So yeah, but it was kind of hilarious. Everybody thought it was a joke, but it really was like robbed at like gunpoint with like a gunpoint at my head. Yeah, he was trying to break into my car. Actually, he was in my car. I don't know how he got in there, unless I forgot to lock the door. Yeah,
We live in a cartoon.
yeah, like I don't know, like where I used to live when that happened. That was actually like a regular thing. Like I was living in another part of that city, and like my car got broken in like 5 times in a period of 4 months. So then, like the police wouldn't do anything about it. They just would tell me where to go to like get the windows fixed and shit, and tell me not to park there. So I'd park on a different street. Same shit would happen, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I live in a really crappy city, so I know the words to that song.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember my roommate. He was walking home in the alley, and like 4 kids like jumped him because he wouldn't give them his wallet. And I was just like, well, you could have just given him all your money, and you would have not, been roughed up. So he's made up some weird excuse and said like, "Is really a little bit of money worth your life?" Not really, you know.
Yeah, it's property's
So-
not worth your life.
Yeah, I was gonna say some people got the priorities wrong, especially in really weird situations. For me, it was the phone, my cell phone.
I don't even carry my cell phone.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit attached to mine. I don't know what else is going on today. Yeah, the Mars Perseverance landed today. I wonder what.
Or did it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What does the flat earthers have to say about that? Flat.
Tyler, didn't you get in a fight earlier today, or about that?
Yeah. I did with the account holder, who's for major activists, and they didn't respond when I was telling them about like the science behind about why we need to get off of the Earth. Like, I've listened to like Dr. Michio Kaku and a few other like big guys in physics and space. And the survival of the species really needs to expand or be space bound in order for us to survive. The Earth is not going to last forever, ever, and neither is the sun. But and there are other reasons why we should colonize the moon for fusion reaction for because we can mine helium-3 on the moon, but the only way we can get it currently now is through radioactive decay of tritium, which is a really inefficient way of doing it. And like helium-3 is very expensive, so I don't know. Some people, I don't. I guess they were trying to attribute space exploration to the elites and Elon Musk, and I go, there is more than just like that's such an American view of space program, is that they think that only one person or two people are doing it, but like there are lots of countries going out right now. I think Chinese went to the moon recently. Israel tried to go to the moon, but the thing crashed like twice or something. India's doing stuff on the moon. Who else?
I think Iran's starting to get in that game too. I feel like
Yes,
they're starting
yes.
to launch satellites
So
and shit.
I mean, that's the next big leap for the humankind or human race. It's more than just a science exploration now. Now we have to look at it as is this the next? Are we going to colonize another planet to guarantee the propagation of our species? Just in case. And I think the answer is yes.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that the sociopaths that have the means and the resources to make something like that possible would clone themselves before they would bring any of us peasants with them. I think the space travel or repopulation will be dangled in front of the populace, but I'm Hans in the chat here saying mining the moon, not populate. Mining other stuff, yeah, absolutely, but I don't know if they even need humans for that in a generation or two. Maybe first couple rounds.
Well, you're familiar with well, it would be more like there would be some you know the requirements for working at McMurdo Station in Antarctica, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's certain things, there are certain conditions and certain physical abilities you have to meet just to even work in some of these weird places, and that would apply to colonizing, other spheres, planets, and moon most likely is not the ideal place. A, it doesn't have an atmosphere, and B, you're dealing with radiation and exposure. So what I have heard is that if they can find a cave somewhere in like in a crater or whatever, that would be the ideal place. So it hasn't worked out its kinks yet. As far as Mars doesn't have a really stable magnetosphere because the core doesn't spin. So you're dealing with radiation issues there. Radiation can be negated by having a layer of lead or a layer of water in between you and the radiation, depending on what kind of radiation it is. But yeah, it's an engineering feat that's just not all the way there. Will if populating, Mars is like on a massive scale. I don't ever see that, but mankind will never know if it's even possible unless we try.
I mean, I'm kind of torn on it because on one hand, I do agree with you that I think our natures, we want to kind of expand out like that, but I mean, we're spending billions and billions of dollars on this shit, and we've got like people everywhere not even able to eat and shit. Like, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of money when there's so many problems at home.
Right now, what all of the advancements towards outer space is for the United States to get full military superiority over space and full global surveillance, like in terms of a digitally mapped planet. and real time surveillance of like every square inch up close. That superiority. The who was it? Mike Mullen, Admiral, was talking about the need for the United States to have full asymmetric superiority over space, like years ago.
I mean, what wasn't the space program? I mean, everyone says it was for space exploration, but that was all military anyway. I mean, when has that changed? I don't think so. They're just using science as like a nice mask over the whole thing.
And look, the same people that are cheerleading, or the whole fucking Green New Deal fucking climate shit, are also the same people that are like, yeah, and we're gonna go colonize Mars. We'll live in a fucking floating space station with fucking shit like that. Same people. They're out of one side of their mouth. They're telling you what you have to do and what you have to sacrifice in order to save the planet, while they're like, yeah, check my rockets, bitch.
Well, they're
Yeah, I
politicians.
mean, I think I think we should do exploration and stuff, but I don't. They're not doing it for the right reasons anyway.
Yeah, probably not. You're probably right on that end, but I don't know. It's kind of amazes me that it took a guy who's worth billions to show the government equivalent that you could make it for. I think Elon actually put a price on how much it costs to launch something, and we're talking just bare bones. I think it costs less than $100,000 to launch something, just into satellite orbit, where you do the government equivalent, and you're talking billions.
Elon Musk is backed by the U.S. government. I watch these satellites from my backyard every time. The rockets, every time they shoot a rocket up, I've been watching them since I was born. Elon Musk, all the money he's getting was given to him by the government in one way or another, either through his car company or through grants or whatever, tax breaks. He's all government.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not gonna lie about that either. Yeah.
And that Starlink
I mean,
is the biggest spy network ever going to be up. They're going to control everything on Earth with that whole web.
Absolutely. Starlink is fucking Skynet.
The
Well,
Internet of Things.
I was watching Linus Linus Tech Tips. He was able to acquire a beta version of the satellite. It was just like with any other satellite connection, you are dealing with a lag. That's kind of common. It is a little faster than some of the other satellite internet providers, but as far as using the internet service, the Starlink for your home, you could get where you could have a wired connection. Let's say you can get like 1 gigabit on a wired connection. I think the Starlink maxes out at like 100 megabit down and like 50 up. With the latency isn't like super noticeable if you're not really into like the little techie end of it, but it does serve a purpose. Like, I guess if you live in the rural areas, but there are like other solutions as well that they've been using that are they're not as effective, but they're almost as equivalent. So I don't know, for the price tag and what I've seen, it just seems like it's more expensive than what it's worth. That's just my opinion.
They're not targeting this for consumers. They're targeting this for your house, for all this Internet of Things shit. They want it. They want tabs on everything. They want traffic data for everything.
I think the service is like $99 a month, and there are some internet service providers that are still using Directional antennas, believe it or not, but they're only offering it like I think 20 megabit down. That's if you're living in the boonies, and then you might have to get like an alternative satellite connection, but like 14 megabit down. But I'm just not seeing the price tag of like $100 for what you could pay the same amount for a wired connection. You know, I'm not seeing the upside of
You
this.
could get a decent fiber connection for that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always like that, WiMAX stuff, or the you can also ask the cell phone company to see if they can install like a cellular tower, or even a micro tower near you. You can do stuff like that, and you can get cellular bound internet, which has always been another solution. So at like 4G speed, which is not that bad, for like 75 a month. So I just see it as like another gimmick after seeing what it was capable of doing. But I don't know. I guess the satellite doesn't require calibration. It kind of calibrates itself. So I guess that cuts down on cost, but the price
I
tag
mean,
of,
there's no reason to launch that many fucking satellites if you're not planning something nefarious.
Oh,
Right. No, there's a digital mapping project going on that Starlink is. I mean, it's the fucking 5G communications grid. Like that's what the Internet of Things is going to be built on.
even 5G has some problems.
Oh, sure. And
Yeah.
fuck 5G, by the way.
It
Not
is-
not because it's the coronavirus, but
No.
but because fuck the Internet of Things. That's national security state, wet dream, total surveillance, fucking nightmare shit.
There's actually like a real engineering problem with 5G. So when you go into a let's go you go into like a parking garage and you get no cell phone signal, but then you'll go to like 1G or like 3G and it'll work. Well, that has to go with the oscillation on the radio wave. So with 5G, we're dealing with the higher bands. They don't penetrate objects as well, and they actually are shorter distance and limited by what they can do. So we're talking maybe like a 2 block radius, so you even have to put in all these relays everywhere. But the signal has like such low penetration on that a tree in front of one of the cell towers can literally interfere with your connection. That's why I look at it as like maybe we could we could get some engineers together and kind of think of an engineering solution where we get higher data speeds but not alter the go on the higher bands. I mean, there's other solutions, but I'm just not seeing the upside of 5G. I mean, yeah, okay, so you're getting like 800 megabit on a good day next to a tower. You go 3 blocks away from that, and you're barely getting 10 megabit down. Yeah, so
So it's just a big scam.
it is, but I guess it's the innovation of bigger, faster, whatever. I've always disputed, others on the show that the 5G is going to cause cancer and this and that. There's been very little. I could even go into the whole history of the. When you turn on a radio and you hear the fuzz, that means there's background radiation from the explosion of the Big Bang, and we've been life forms have been exposed to a lot of these bands since the birth of life on this planet. And I don't know. I guess if you're like 3 feet away from a microwave tower where you can actually get some heat and possibly some intense microwave exposure, yeah, you probably would get
Oh,
cancer.
you can 100% get RF
Yeah.
burns. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm saying that like nobody's in the right mind's gonna be standing up to a huge microwave dish while it's on. Like, why would you do that?
into it. It's like an open air microwave. Why would you do that? Like,
Well, no,
It's not going
like
to be that bad.
it's like phones though. You know, you read the inserts. You're supposed to keep that phone like 2 or 3 foot away from you, and you got all these people sticking it right on your ear. I mean, you're getting a big dose.
yeah, if you look at the like the warnings and shit on cell phones, they're like, you're not even supposed to put it in your pocket and crap, and everyone does that.
Fry your nuts.
Well, I mean, that
Good for you.
would be looking more into is the radiation penetrating and destroying, the DNA. Is it causing cancer cells? Is it doing that? And there's just not enough evidence without skewed data sets to support the argument. I've done the research. It's a lot of these times that you'll see these articles that say scientists said this, but if you look to the article that is published in some official form, it'll 9 times out of 10 it says inconclusive. So I don't know. I guess they got to say that on official terms to try and keep it away from you, just in case there is some liability of getting sued. But I mean, we've been exposed to radio waves even before man started even using it. I mean, even the Earth gives off radio waves, but it's in the lower AM. No, it's even lower. Whistlers are really low, really low oscillation. But yeah, we've been exposed to background radiation from the microwave radiation from the Big Bang. That's the fuzz you see, fuzz you hear on the radio. So on every band. So I'm kind of like not seeing the downside of this. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm way off topic.
I have problem
We
with
had a topic?
long-term exposure. I
What?
have a problem with long.
We had
I
a
have problem with
topic?
long- No, hey, I have a problem with long-term exposure, like with 5G, etc. What do we know about like long-term, right? And we all have it with the other systems too, like especially here in my own country, they're doing local lawsuits and stuff too against the phone providers for having these antennas, etc., placed in urban areas, while they could easily be placed just on the outskirts of towns. We need to know more about long-term exposure of systems before implementing it. Now that same problem with, by the way, with the COVID stuff, right? With the vaccines, we don't know the long-term effects of it. So we have like a rushed-in vaccine, and we don't know what happens 10 years after you take it. So
I mean, that's why they're gonna make everyone get it.
yeah,
Well, you won't.
And,
In a few years, I heard that the proposal is that they'll reissue passports, and you won't be able to fly in any other country without this new immunization stamp or whatever they're going to be putting on the passports.
yeah. An interesting, Tyler, is that
Did you
this
see
is a plan
who's
for.
telling you it's safe? Did you see who's telling you it's the most important thing that anyone could work on right now? Tony Blair.
Yeah, well, it was
Tony Blair.
Angela Merkel who wanted this plan for Europe already for 2023. Before the virus was released, she came up with this plan to have these vaccination keys in the passports. And she's like running Germany, right? So,
Well, that looks like it's going to be a reality. When I was over, what was I? Close to the Middle East, they were using QR codes to identify who was sick and who was not. That was a little 1984-ish.
let's see. We'll see if I can find an article from pre-COVID saying that, because now everything is about COVID. Like corona vaccination passport gains traction, the Germany Coronavirus Digest. Denmark plans COVID vaccination passport closer in Europe. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there is the. And we're kind of dealing with like what was going on with the polio outbreak, where the we knew we knew that kids were dying like crazy, and this is kind of like where the push came to shove. They knew that 1 in 1,000 kids would die or get polio from the original polio vaccine, but it was worth the risk to save a generation of kids than to see a generation of kids die from something that they could have been saved from. Um, and this was at the turn of the century. I just don't know if there's another solution than to vaccinate the majority of the population to kind of get these numbers to go down and senseless deaths that start happening. But yes, we don't know the long term effects of these vaccines. We don't know.
Which makes us the experimental group.
Yes.
Like the entire population. It would be nice if they came out and said, "Look, we don't have a control group. We're mass experimenting on humans right now. You guys are cool with that, right? Oh, we're restructuring society around this experiment too. That's cool, right? You guys okay with that? Would you like to vote on it? Would you like to vote on who got to make that decision? No? I don't know. Crazy talk.
Well, right now, even the vaccine rollouts have been a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I guess there's now I've been hearing vaccine tourism is going on. I guess I've been hearing that that there are you know black people in the black market that actually do have the real shit, and I don't understand how that's even going on. Um,
Oh, because a truck gets knocked off or something like that, and somebody's
Yeah.
got a garage lab or a warehouse lab. Well-funded people that are fucking home lab scientists.
I actually follow one.
Well, we've got vaccine tourism here, which is really true. We've had all these people coming from New York, New Jersey, and everything to Florida and standing in line and getting their vaccines and flying back home.
Yeah, that's
Well, they can't get them in New York or wherever they come from. I mean, they're
I
They don't
guess
want
not.
to wait. They don't want to wait. Is what it is.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
people who want to get to the front of the line. If they can afford to travel, they're going because they want to cut. They want to
Yeah.
get to the front of the line. And look, man, I'm not the guy that's like, go get a mRNA vaccine where you're the experimental group. I'm not that guy. I'm not. It's so for me, it's like if they want to fucking cut in line for that, they get what they deserve. But it underscores how wonderful our healthcare system is.
Well, America does have third world problems when it comes to healthcare. I'm not gonna lie. It's been
We got
that way for a long
fucking
time.
hookworm, homie. There is hookworm. It like
Well, a lot of people don't like my idea, but like I can tell you from personal experience, it's a shit show on the back end where let's say you get diagnosed with cancer, right? And your oncology medications they'll charge you $13,000 a dose, sometimes 28,000, sometimes more. And then here's the deal: is that at some point when you have terminal cancer, you're depending on what is written in the reports, your insurance company will shut you down, and it was a system set up to fail. So there's a bunch of people that are going bankrupt to stay alive, and or it's
Or
kind
they
of, it's
just
kind
or
of
they just die.
yeah, and here's the deal: is like you go to any other country, you get the same medicine, right? Let's just compare United States and Mexico, right? So the average price of an albuterol inhaler in the United States, right, is about somewhere between $50 and $90 without insurance. Going into Mexico, $13.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a doctor in 6 years, and the last time I saw a doctor, I had fucking heart surgery. So like, the system's failed,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, it probably costs heart surgery starts at like 100 grand.
Yeah, I had insurance at the time, but I would have been screwed otherwise. But I can't even get insurance now. The lowest quote I can get is like $900 with like, $20,000 deductible or some crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wanting like 250K to put a new knee in me and fix 2 discs in my neck, with orthoscopic surgery.
Yeah, you just claim you fell down in Canada and then go to the hospital.
I think it'd be better if I fell in Walmart or something. Too bad Amazon don't have a store.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming, but it'll be in an innovation zone.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, hey, it's Glory.
That sounds like Glory Jones.
Hey, bro, I'm saying I saw my man Sleepy J in the Discord. I had to get in. Gotta hype
to
on
see
my
you, buddy.
boy. What's good with you, Sleepy?
Aren't
see
I
you
supposed
in
to
the
be your hype
Discord.
man? I'm supposed to be
Mean-
your hype man.
Glory's
Okay.
so much better at it, though.
She really is. I'm a bad
I
hype man.
mean,
She's an
that's why you're my
energetic
salty.
youth.
That's why you're my salty hype man, Sleepy.
I'm the bitter backup dancer.
A bitter backup dancer. They all are too.
Right?
Oh man, I want to pull up a fucking Madonna video, big production, just to see how many people hate their lives.
Man, I have a drag queen friend, and that fool would do the bitter backup dancer impression, and it's one of the funniest goddamn things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that would kill as a full bit.
It was a full bit, I assure you.
Yeah,
it was like
if-
5-10 minutes.
If it was your drag queen friend, it was absolutely a full bit. That's a production. Going to the store for smokes is a production.
Truth.
Those are right. My favorite drag queen stage name ever was Empress Priscilla von Brokenheimen.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
Yeah, dude.
My favorite is my friend JD, and it's sister porn again.
Mr. Porn again. All right. Yeah. 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 You're listening to Gospel Hour on Anonymous Bites Back Radio.
My bad.
I'm
Yeah,
just
with
reading what the
Lucifer
chat
following.
says.
What was that, Hans?
This chat always goes wild. This server.
Hey, we do it live.
Yeah.
It's the best way to be.
Yeah, there are no fucking rules here. I mean, we get censored all the time. Like, they can delete our episodes. We'll be on vk.com still or something.
Yeah, they never censor
What?
anything.
Hey,
What are they gonna do,
have you
ban
guys
it?
hooked up? Have you guys hooked up your YouTube to Odyssey yet? If not, you should do that.
check that out. We use like a restream, right? So I have to see how that works.
They'll have live streaming soon, but they'll actually sync your YouTube channel and keep it synced, so it's a good backup.
We use 2 YouTube channels actually.
They'll do
What?
both.
We have that Another Voice YouTube, which is completely unrelated, but it's like a backup thing. It's much
Yeah, I think we have
bigger,
to
to
pay
be
a little
honest.
more for another YouTube hookup.
Yeah. But that's like the manually added, right? That has like
yeah,
just
it's manually added.
yeah.
You should absolutely do that, Alamo. You should. You should. Everybody should. In fact, you should advocate that right now, or I will.
Yeah, you do it.
So, okay, if it comes down to it, right? If it comes down to it, and the swab comes to these fair shores,
Oh God.
somebody wants to jam a Q-tip up your ass to find out whether or not you have a cold, then you go to your doctor's office in full leather gear and hand the medical staff a whip when you get there. So I don't know if I would go for a whip. Like, I don't know if you really want to give somebody that's already stabbing you additional toys, but I mean, I am not here to kink shame. So
Maybe a
You do
gift
you.
mask at the minimum. Just
right?
yeah.
Right? Like as soon as they get anywhere near you, just kind of like harder, daddy. Like, dude,
Oh my God! Don't give me ideas.
Don't threaten us with a good time, Steve.
bro, do that shit. Everyone do that. That's fucking hilarious. Hell yeah.
Oh man, if they make me take that shit, I'm gonna troll them. Fuck it.
Bro.
That's the only way to get through this.
I'm about to yell
Yeah,
at
the
people.
shot collar. The shot collar is a good idea too.
Yeah, this chat is funny.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We're
I mean, shit.
we're LGBTIQZ plus friendly here.
All right, so someone that's part of that community, like, if they add any more fucking letters onto that thing, I'm gonna go ape shit.
Yeah. In here it has some disturbing letters added, taken off later. See.
It's obnoxious.
Yeah. We literally had a child love political party here. They had their own chapter back then at HQ. It's illegalized now, by the way. We had huge protests against it.
Was it a pedo party?
Yeah, the pedo party. You remember that, right?
Ugh.
Here we just call them Congress.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who needs
have you seen the president?
pedo party? Who needs the pedo party when you have Gavin Newsom?
Oh, did you see Biden say he likes kids more than people at that town hall? And everyone
Yes.
said, yeah, we know.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't say.
And people
Groping
wonder why.
Joe.
And people wonder why Obama kept him locked in a closet for 8 years.
Right.
Well, apparently he didn't. Apparently he sent Joey over to the Ukraine to go shake down the government there, threaten them with $1 billion if they didn't drop an investigation into his kid. But But when people looked into it, they impeached the president.
Yeah.
What about that damn laptop?
Yo. I
Yeah, that was all part of spreading democracy, man. You know, quit bad mouthing America.
I'm telling you, access to freedom.
access to free.
I can't hear you, gentlemen, over all of this powerhouse democracy we have going on here.
The return to normal. The
Oh, yeah.
healing has begun. You can tell the healing's begun because the National Guard that's deployed to patrol the presidential headquarters is staying until the fall now.
Welcome
No,
back,
Steve.
democracy.
No, you idiot. The healing's begun because Jill Biden put cardboard hearts on the White House lawn.
Did you see that article?
The
No,
scrunchy one?
I tend to kind of stay away from all of that shit, to be honest.
Like the disgruntled White House employees that had to put up the hearts on the lawn.
Oh my god, really?
Do I still have that up? Yes.
All right, hold up, guys. I'm dropping a real story in the Discord here.
Uh-oh.
Jesus Christ, really?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on with Julian's with the U.S. appeal with Julian Assange? When is that gonna go on? And when you know what I mean? Like this is kind of like ridiculous that he's still being held. Even
we don't have a date
That's
for
ridiculous.
a start of the appeal yet. So here's how this works. Because the U.S. chose to appeal, they have to convene a panel of magistrates to review the appeal, and the panel will determine whether or not it has merit. If it has merit, then they'll set an initial trial date. A trial date can be anywhere up to 2 years out from the day that they determine they're going to set a date.
So he can be in prison for another 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes. And I am unclear. I'm checking with a couple people so that I have an answer for this when we do the vigil on Saturday. I'm unclear whether or not his legal team would be able to reapply for bail. But at this point, getting denied bail again, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if a different set of judges would see it differently, but I do know that AMLO coming out and offering amnesty before the bail hearing was cited as reason why they weren't giving him bail. So just the idea that countries would be willing to give him asylum, it will more than likely rule out further opportunities to get bail. So yes, and here's the other thing. The U.S. can file meritless appeal after meritless appeal after meritless appeal and just drag this shit out indefinitely. This is why it is going to take a mass citizen presence in every single country in order to get something done about this. The people who are running the show want this man dead. So we need to make everybody else give a damn about it.
Exactly.
They're also fucking with his Swedish programmer. What was his name? What's his Mark?
Olavini.
Olamini. Yeah.
Olavini,
They keep on accusing him of hacking shit. He didn't hack
Yeah.
anything. He's still fighting that in Ecuador right now. Still.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, we have weird disappearances too, there, Tyler. Like we have
the guy
Aryan.
in Norway. Yeah. Remember?
He's dead, right? I mean, or he's disappeared or he's dead.
No, he's dead. Like, I'm pretty sure he's dead. Like,
We found this canoe with like a hole in it.
it's kind of bizarre. And he drowned in like a Was it a stream or a small river?
Now you have the fjords in Norway, which are like all these tiny little like islands, like around the like at the coast of Norway, and it's like such a huge area that it's very hard to find anything there. It's like the coastline is like as big as the U.S. Like it's like a huge coastline. Um, yeah, so he disappeared. But the thing is, he was training war zone journalists to stay safe and stuff. So he was experienced.
Maybe
He was from the Pirate Party in my country, and actually he was one of the founding members. He was actually around like in 2012 when the whole party was like launched and everything. So he was well known with our community in our country, and very experienced in warfare training for journalists. That's Arjen Kamphuis. If anyone wants to search for him online, we had like a whole search for where he was when he disappeared. He was early days WikiLeaks supporter, early programmer too. Yeah, there's other things too. Rob Gongrijp, also a Dutch guy. Luckily, he is like a multi-millionaire, right? And he's safe in some weird place, but he was targeted too, pretty bad. He's the founder of Access for All, the first the first open internet, public internet provider in my country. He sold it later on to a big provider, but he was involved with decoding the collateral murder video early on.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
even I remember Gary. What was his name? Gary. Remember the Scottish hacker? Gary. What was his name? Gary something. The
You mean
autistic one.
McKinnon? You mean?
Yeah. Where he hacked the Pentagon and wrote, and that's how he remember he was in there for like weeks, and then he just wrote, your security is crap, and that's how he got caught. And then all he did was tell everybody he was going to kill himself, and they let him go. So, but he actually hacked. He actually hacked the government, where all the accusations that they've had against WikiLeaks are always false.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Like I guess the saying goes is that court no matter where you go in the world is a kangaroo court. You know. There really is no justice.
If you hit the high level, if you hit the level high enough, they suddenly all work together, right? Every country,
Yes.
all of them. It's depending on what level you're playing in. Are they still keeping the charade up? But Julian was well aware of what would happen to him. He said they would chase him for everywhere. So. But him being like a hardened activist journalist knew what he was up to. But the problem is other journalists don't know what they're going to be facing, right? And they pretty much collapse after days or weeks, most of them.
You remember the girl that blew the lid on the porch on the where is it, the Portuguese papers or the no, Panama Papers? Remember they found her, they killed her and blew up her car. Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm posting the links to these people we just mentioned in the chat.
Yeah. And remember the other one? We had her relatives on the show. The one that was murdered in Turkey. Remember
Oh
the
yes,
one that was
Serena Sim.
yeah.
Yeah, we had Serena Sim's mom on the show before. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I put a link about Arjen in the chat now. You search for him everywhere. At some point, we still. Yeah, what the hell is a Big Brother award? Yeah, oh, okay. So here in my country, we give a Big Brother award to the most intrusive company, right? So we have like a public award saying like you're the most you're the company who surveils the most and who destroys our privacy the most, so we're giving you the Big Brother award. That's what we do.
Well, it's sad that, if you speak the truth, you know, I guess there are real repercussions now. Where you gotta look, you gotta watch your own back, you know?
Yeah, well, at least people, yeah, like the people linked to WikiLeaks in my country have been hunted down like animals. I can tell you that. So, and I'm guessing we had the same fate for every European who was not in Iceland, I think. So, yeah. So you see the links now.
Yeah, the other day I was looking at this website, I can't remember, Crypto World or something. It was something, and they list all the alphabet agencies for all the countries around the world. And the Netherlands got everybody beat, man. They make the U.S. look like amateurs as far as alphabet
Yeah,
groups go.
yeah, we have. Yeah, no, you're right. There's some shady stuff going on here, definitely. But it's also because we have the AMS-IX, the Amsterdam Internet Exchange, which I think at this point is still the largest internet exchange in the world. Not sure if China is already beyond us. Maybe you know better about that, Sleepy. I don't know, but I know the Amsterdam Internet Exchange has always been the largest. So it's like one of the core internet backbones, and that's why there's so much here.
I did not realize that.
We're also the second country connected to the internet after the US. We're connected to the US, actually.
Yeah, where I live used to be like a huge telecommunications hub early on, and like I remember like once they moved out of here, like the town like dried up.
Yeah. Well, we have a tiny country, right? So everything focuses like on one or two locations. And like in the US, we have all these big cities with all these big exchanges. But like if you focus everything on one location, and we have like what is it, like a 96% broadband penetration, uh, yeah, you're going to deal with like a huge backbone, with a huge internet exchange.
I mean, we get none of the benefits to the backbone here. Like we have like some of the slowest internet like ever in the States.
A lot of overselling going on, right?
It's not even that. They throttle the hell out of everything.
Well, it's got to run through them new servers that they've got over there. They're running the CIA and NSA that they're burning up 2.5 million gallons of water cooling every day. It's got to go. They're the man in the middle.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then you've got
You can
just-
thank a JIT Pi for internet speeds. Come on now.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that they legally can throttle everything now. So they're charging you for overages on bandwidth now, like all kinds of shit since that came out.
It depends on which ISP you're using, but yeah, a lot of the major.
That's just started in the last
Yeah.
year or so, but yeah, it's good. I'm sure that's going to spread.
Yeah, and the thing is that data's just getting cheaper and cheaper, though. I mean, and they keep raising the prices. Like on your phone, they'll want,
See, that's the thing is
$10 for
I
2 more gig.
Go ahead.
No, it's all right. I was just saying they just keep wanting to add them charges on there, like $10 more for 5 more gigabytes of data or whatever, and data's actually so cheap. It's just it's crazy.
See, the thing is, I don't understand how they even come up with a price per data. Okay, the equipment's paid for. It doesn't cost any more electricity than what we're paying for the taxes or the local taxes on, or even the monthly fees you paid towards your cell phone provider. So why would they be charging per data when all of the equipment's already been paid for?
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? You're putting a price on a packet of data, right? Which really doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, if the equipment's paid off, it should just be a flat rate and that's it,
But there's only a few companies even doing it. I mean, you've got Comcast, which is the biggest one, and then you've got all these other. There's only like 3 or 4 companies that are even providing real internet, anywhere.
Oh, I thought you were talking
everything
about
else.
cell phones. My bad. Yeah, but with some ISPs.
But
that
even home phones, the data is, it's controlled by these big people that they won't cross each other's boundaries. That's why, like I said, I'm on satellite because I've got I've got cable and fiber optic not even a mile from where I'm at, but they will not run it here because they will not break into somebody else's territory to run it.
Do you remember the old PC? Remember the old like credit cards style wireless cellular things that you used to be able to put into your laptops, the big huge PCMIA, whatever they were called cards. I forget what they were called.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
PCMCA.
yeah. I do remember I did have access to some of those in the early 2000, like mid 2000s. I don't remember. I remember them costing a large fee up front, but I don't remember. I don't remember them charging per data column. I don't remember them charging for the data. It was like one fee. I don't remember them like, you know, if you go over this amount of gigabytes, it's going to cost you. I don't remember that. But I know AT&T used to have a limit where their ISPs it used to be 250 gigabytes. I didn't even know until I was digging into my router and checking shit out, and apparently there was a data cap, and they were going to charge you so many amount of dollars per gigabyte. Now they moved it up to a terabyte, but now we're dealing with problems where people want 4K content, and it's going to require higher bandwidths or more data going back and forth, and you're just going to go through that like no other. Now, is it feasible to go through a terabyte in a month? Possibly, yeah, but I'm saying, you know, you start jumping, you know, an 8K. There's some enthusiasts, you know, who are already even trying to do the 8K.
Well, they're trying to outlaw the over the air, and they're trying to get rid of the cable companies and put everything, you know, into streaming now, because they're wanting to transition to that Starlink when it's all together. When that stuff's all together, that's why there's like 5 streaming companies a day opening now. Every time you turn the TV on, there's some other streaming company.
Well, that's a fad that's gonna die out, and I've seen that coming for a while. There's so many streaming services out right now. Eventually, some big monster's gonna come out and knock out the competition or make them fizzle out. I think I don't know. I guess this is what you do in a free economy, but with so many different options, and you have just shittier and shittier ones. And if you want a majority of the content, you got to pay more. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of these, like, what is it, Paramount Network, and then they got like Discovery Plus, and all of these other things. But then if you like sign up for, like, let's say AT&T TV, or which is the internet version of the Uverse, they have just as everything as you want from Discovery Plus, all inclusive. So it's kind of, well, without the exclusive content for shows I'm never gonna watch, but like I just see it. It's gonna be a shit show. It really will.
It's going to be the same thing as back in the 90s. You know, back when I first started on the internet, there wasn't really any providers. You know, Prodigy came out, and that was $5
I remember that
an hour.
Prodigy. Yeah.
Then CompuServe come in. I had that. That was $5 an hour. But in the 90s, all of a sudden, you had ISPs just like there is streaming services now. There was hundreds of them. And then, like you said, sooner or later, they start either consolidate and get bought out, and, you know, they get down to just a few main groups. You know, I mean, that's the same thing that's going to happen. You're right.
God, I haven't thought about those days. It was so long. I remember I was like one of the few kids that have an ISDN line too.
Well, that was me too. You know, I can remember my first little computer, that little Timex Sinclair 1000. I had 8K with an 8K expansion pack.
Woohoo.
I mean, I was rocking with my little cassette drive.
I remember 1.2 kbps. Oh my god, 1200. And there was 14.4 and 20.
Yeah, I started with 300.
Remember, my mom used to yell at me because I was like playing Doom over the phone, you know, with those over the phone with my friends, and she would get so mad.
I don't know. I miss BBSs and stuff personally.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved them. You know, and then you started to learn the code basic. You know, I mean, that was cool. You know, I mean, you'd write your little program, make your own Pong game or 21 or something.
I played a lot of Usurper and Bordello.
Nah. Nah. Look, I when graphics just started getting good in video games was about the time that I discovered chicks. So,
Fuck you.
Why not? Both?
and I played sports. I was a multiple
bro.
sport athlete, and I also I had a band, and I had like several other extracurricular activities that I allegedly
Okay. Okay.
I was busy.
Prince Charming. Okay.
busy.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
you're just saying he's too old for you, Glory.
Listen, Steve ain't
What's
got
up?
shit for excuse. Fucking
Are you calling us nerds,
High school.
Steve?
yeah. What the
No,
fuck?
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Look, dude, look. Okay, man.
I'll kick your ass in basketball and FIFA. What's up?
I believe that. I believe that. I do. I'm walking around on a fucking broken leg. And one of the primary reasons that I left Indiana was because I sucked at basketball. And that will get you expelled from the state if you don't voluntarily leave. So I voluntarily left. Great at soccer, great at hockey, sucked at basketball.
I'll kick your ass in soccer then.
Watching
Man,
TV.
look, dude.
My skills
on
aren't
two,
that good, but I am a great defender. Just
if
saying.
I had two good legs, I would love to take you up on that, man. But I gotta fucking. There's a nylon ball where my ankle used to be, dude. Like soccer ain't
I
a sport no
know.
more. Hey, there's like bits of metal and shit where parts of
We
my
can do it.
tibia were, but and I'm not gonna start playing video games now, man. I'm just not. I'm not. I have stringed instruments. Like in my I just bought a banjo, another banjo, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I'm barely getting to know it. You know, I would get to know that before I would.
Man, I live in the
develop a
swamp.
video
When
game.
people start playing banjos, people start running.
Some do, others move towards the banjo. It really depends, man. It really depends.
I mean, that's gonna be my next musical purchase. To be fair, I think that's the next one I'm gonna learn.
Yeah, I'd probably be pretty good. I don't know. I never could. I never played an instrument really. You know, I mean, I did a lot of other stuff. You know, I mean, growing up, I mean, I was really busy racing and doing a bunch of other stuff. But I can play a mean stereo, man. I got some pretty nice ass stereos, that's for sure.
Hand
used
this
to be-
man the ox.
I used to be able to sight read music, and I lost that ability, and I would like to relearn it.
I could
Like
teach you,
sheet
man.
music.
I'll teach you.
I would like to relearn that. But no, I prefer mandolin. And fucking, I'm so pissed, man, because I just went and got like replacement machine heads for my mandolin because one of the tuning pegs is fucked off, and on a mandolin you have to replace the entire set of like tuning pegs and machine heads and everything when you replace one. And I fucking didn't look. I got the wrong style, and now I've got to order the right style, which of course are minimum 3 times the price of the A style for the shitty ones. I don't want the shitty ones. But like the mid-grade ones are 250.
Damn.
That's the jump. $60 to 250.
Shit.
Right?
Oh fuck, that reminds me. I have math homework.
Lori Jones.
Calm down. It'll take like 5 minutes.
Now she's flexing.
What? I'm a math nerd. I'm not trying to hide that shit. I'm
Hey.
fucking
I was not. I have nothing but love for math nerds.
yay.
I think we got multiple math nerds on this show tonight. So
I made you guys some money in high school.
Aw, damn!
I don't know down
Why
here.
couldn't I be like 50 years older so I could get money from Steve?
like I said, down here where I grew up, the only way they can count.
And
is
you
put a little
just said
G
you were
after
good
the
at
number.
math.
What was that, Hans?
Yeah, man.
I said the only way they can count
I'm
down here in
20,
the
you're
swamp.
like 70, Steve. That's how it works out.
If you got to put a little G after the number for people to count it down here.
Good Lord. What happens? You don't come with a fucking topic. Oh, I did just see that the Joe Biden, to I think everybody's surprise, is going to extend contracts with ICE,
No, really?
and in fact did not halt deportations.
Of course not. You know,
And
Oh, and it's not kids in cages anymore. It's overflow facilities.
Yes.
this is not a nuclear bomb. It is a fusion device.
Hey, it's
Let's
not
just rebrand it.
censor. It's not censorship. It's correcting misinformation.
right.
I gotta get that damn Winnie the Pooh meme now.
And I had my kid's mom, man. She like tried to like say, "Oh, everything's gonna be all right. Trump's not an office anymore. He's gonna let the kids out of the cages." And like 4 days later, they just rebrand the damn thing.
Yeah, I was just watching War Dogs. Like, just reminded me of what you guys were talking about. They have the Albanian towels and just rip off the tag. Now it's a USA towel.
It's cartoonish.
Yeah.
A shitty fucking cartoon.
Oh, the world's a shit show. Really is.
It's direct to DVD Disney flick.
American Pie 43.
I found out how many of those they had recently, and I was freaking horrified.
Oh yeah, I stopped paying attention after like the third or I saw there was a third or fourth one.
I didn't know about anything past the second one.
The first one was pretty bad.
Oh, I imagine they're all terrible. I saw the first one. I did. I lost interest after, but yeah, I guess there's a whole like extended universe.
I do have a topic. It's kind of off the wall, but California's third-party DMV that they've been using for, I forget, some weird reason, was breached, and they also had ransomware installed onto all of their computers.
Good.
Good. There you go. I guess the California DMV will be issuing letters. I guess they say that only 5,000 people got affected, but that's probably not the truth. There's probably tons of people that, and I just smell lawsuits coming.
But we're so progressive and awesome in California, don't you know?
The bluest of the
Have you ever
blue
walked? I
states.
mean, like there's
Oh
some states
my
that have
God.
walked away from the DMV. You know, like Illinois has a Secretary of State. They don't even have DMVs. They just rebranded it, and they don't send your ID cards or your driver's license in the mail. They just print it out right there and just give it to you. Like, they have the technology, I mean, but it just seems like government offices just don't know how to like adapt to like.
Oh, they know. It's just not as profitable.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with California is it's just one huge nasty bureaucracy. Like anything you do here takes forever, and so like, I mean, even the state systems and stuff, they're running on some real old software, man. Like
So was the
just
IRS.
ancient.
The IRS was literally still using reel to reels because they couldn't get away. They couldn't walk away from it. Some of the old storage was still on reel to reel.
I think a lot of that stuff is all COBOL and shit too.
Yep.
I have no idea what the fuck you just said.
It's an ancient computer language, and
See,
like
I understand
half
that.
the government is still running on that crap.
Yeah, I remember they were trying to get all of the information onto some sort of other storage device, but when you've built infrastructure on old technology, it's kind of retarded. Like, I guess, even the guidance systems for the nuclear missiles were still running on 5.5-inch floppy disks from the 80s, and there was like even some of the jet fighters were still using 3.5-inch floppies, like for some of their systems. I'm like, dude, like,
What the hell?
why? Yeah, Windows XP are still used in the United States military on some of their shit still.
That's just asking to get like infiltrated.
Like naming your organization People's Party.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I remember I forgot when it was. I think it was around when Corona started and all that crap, and like they were like, yeah, because all the unemployment systems in California were crapping out, and they're all COBOL, so they're looking for like these 85-year-old programmers to come out of retirement to fix their shit. It was hilarious.
Aww.
Yeah, I heard about the scam that was going on where people were I guess California had hired Bank of America to do the unemployment, and like
Oh yeah.
a whole bunch of people like got together, and I guess scammers, and they were able to accrue $100 million in like unemployment benefits. Like that's like a fucking shit show.
I mean, that's a good example of just the state in general. That's how the whole damn thing runs.
I am so sorry I don't have topics. I really misread the messages.
Normally you list like a huge list of topics,
I
Tyler.
know.
Jack Sith in the chat is fucking hilarious. That's
Jack!
fantastic. That's fantastic. Name the org People's Party and then have an unelected power structure.
How can you lose?
What could possibly go wrong? That
Oh,
kid
well,
hid
That
in the
is
bushes.
a great suggestion, Jack.
Yeah, I won't say it on air, but good job.
No. Because
Steve-
No, that would be a
Glory
dumber
Jones,
timeline.
Glory Jones, the reason we got here in the first place is because a weasel got stuck in the Large Hadron Collider. What do you think is going to happen if we stick a
shit.
larger one in it?
We go again.
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I'm kind of curious to find out, though.
I know, that's the point.
I'm just,
Camacho's gonna come out. We're gonna have the dildozer.
Right.
It's just gonna
Right.
instantly be idiocracy.
Right. Right. I mean, look, I don't as tempting as that is. I don't think that trying to get us to a less stupid timeline by sticking a larger, dumber weasel in the collider is how we're going to get there.
I mean, it's more fun to watch him hide in the bushes anyway.
That dude hid in the bushes. The founder of Movement for a People's Party was hiding in the bushes at the Force the Vote event because he did not want to face the wrath of a tiny Asian man.
Shout out to Ed.
Big love, DJ Elf.
Shout out TJL for that shit.
Big love.
Shout out Franco for catching that whole thing on video.
Bruh. Christine pointed it out. Like to us, because we were leaving. And Andrew like did one of those, you mean over there? Completely extended arm pointing right at him as I had spun around and was walking straight back over towards where Ed was and the rest of the people that were left hanging out at the protest. And yeah, dude, Nick just made a beeline for like the thick of the crowd. So that because I guess he thought Ed wouldn't just go fucking full metal fuck you. Right there in front of God and Force the Vote. And boy, did he. We were in the car headed to the event. Yes, Voltaire, Frank Analysis says. In fact, I believe me and Ed and somebody else Franco had us on that show to roll that footage and discuss it. It's mostly Ed yelling. I mean, the entire show too, not just the footage, but that actual live stream was also mostly Ed yelling. Ed was yelling over himself while Ed was yelling on video. Ed was so you can go watch video of Ed yelling over himself on video. On video.
He's got a lot of energy.
This is the content you fucks crave.
Yay.
All right, so is there any more fun censorship crap that's happened in the last few days?
On censorship crap.
Yeah. Last American Vagabond got hit with a Patreon suspension. Patreon told him I read the letter on the live stream, but there's a couple of points. Maybe you guys can help too, because I'm not 100% clear on exactly what the language implies. But the letter that he got from Patreon reads, my name is Vesper and I'm on the trust and safety team here at Patreon. Following our policy update concerning medical misinformation, Patreon can no longer support accounts that repeatedly use unfounded or debunked theories to argue against broadly supported public health measures on COVID-19. I'm going to stop here for a minute to remind everyone that Brian, Last American Vagabond, primarily uses the Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization exclusively. And when he does not, he is using the CDC, the WHO, and like peer-reviewed studies or testimony from doctors, testimony from epidemiologists, and that he is not advancing an argument or a theory. So it continues. I took a look and reviewed your creator page today. In order to bring your page back within our guidelines, kindly review and remove any and all content that advances COVID-19 medical misinformation. I'm sending you an example, links to one of the posts. It says, additionally, since our guidelines extend to any projects that you fund via Patreon, this means that online content linked to your creator page is subject to our guidelines. That's what I'm unclear about, because it sounds like Patreon can go after anything that he has a link to Patreon in the description.
Yeah, he pretty much, I mean, his server, and he pretty much said, like they said, remove the COVID stuff or else, right? That's pretty much how he described it.
Well, he's suspended until he removes it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
which is
he's
like 98% of all his videos for the past year now. So.
Yeah. Well, it is 2021, and he knows what's up, so he needs to find a solution outside of Patreon. It's that simple.
Well, yeah, no, I mean he has that, but if you shouldn't have to lose revenue streams because you're putting out accurate content. You shouldn't. I mean, ideally, in a fucking perfect world, we wouldn't need cash because we would have redefined what work is, and we would just fucking do things that improved our overall sustainability and livelihoods.
I know, Steve, but look, we're dealing in 2021. We're looking at an innocent journalist being tortured in front of our eyes. So that's pretty much the situation we're in. So.
And I argue that's emboldened these companies to
not agreeing with popular opinion. See, that's the catch right there.
He forgot to mute himself.
I mean, that's nuts.
Whoa.
I could barely hear Hans when he said something.
Me too.
Oh, my dumbass had my microphone on my head.
Yeah.
We can hear you. You're listening
It
to yourself.
happens. Happens to the best of us.
Let me look at the chat, what they have to say. They have a lot of stuff to say all the time. Patreon has always been wacko.
Oh,
Look at
this
the
chat?
founder.
Which
No, in the YouTube chat.
Where's that echo coming from?
Echo. What?
Echo.
It's gone for me.
Gone.
Gone. Nice.
There's always one in my head.
No, so he already lost his previous YouTube too. In the chat, so they say he didn't remove it. His previous YouTube is deleted too. He has now another YouTube, like a backup one.
He can't
Yeah,
access.
it's
He
just-
can't access it though. The only way he's able to stream on there is because Restream hasn't killed the link.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just T-Lab backup.
sad story.
In fact, when he got locked out of the primary channel, he was locked out of being able to access any Google account for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Locked
Yeah,
out
okay.
of all Google platforms.
Yeah, well, I
This
mean,
is
like,
this is why he's working on his own, launching his own streaming platform with a few other people that isn't going to be based off of YouTube. That's going to be, I believe it's going to be free. I believe it is.
I say good luck with that, because I'm hearing echo. Echo. That's coming from you, Slow News.
He picks it up with his
Yeah,
microphone.
mute Steve.
Echo.
Microphone. Yeah,
Yeah,
the microphone
Echo.
but I'm saying, once you start getting into streaming and you're gonna build it yourself, we're talking.
is massive bandwidth.
Yeah, it'll start getting pricey, especially with storage. And-
Yeah, storage is like a huge barrier. Like,
Yeah.
especially since everything's gone SSD, it's like storage prices have just gone through the roof.
Then you got.
So I was thinking about something about that, Sleepy, and I was thinking like, do you know like the software like Streamio, for example?
I
It,
haven't used it.
well, it like, yeah, okay, it's kind of it's illegal, but it's also legal. It has illegal stuff too, like it has like the Pirate Bay connected, for example. But you just click on a movie, right, and it loads the movie in your screen, but it uses torrents actually to stream it.
PeerTube does something similar. So as long as you have it on, as long as it's a big enough video, it'll start peer-to-peering through people that have watched it or watching it and stuff. So they're starting to kind of do that with some platforms, but it's not perfect yet.
Well, we could do something like that, right? Offer like a torrent alternative.
Yeah, I mean, PeerTube's kind of cool too because you can actually grab the videos with torrent itself. So I mean, you could integrate that, and it's all activity pub backed. So I mean, you can integrate it with Mastodon and stuff like that.
Yeah, but when you're dealing with like your user base, is not a lot of them, are not so technically inclined. Asking them to do anything that's not on an app form, you start running into problems.
Oh no, it's an app form. It's not hard. to use.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make it as easy as possible for them. Like they upload the video and it gets like.
It's just like using YouTube or something. It's not hard to use.
So that would be something for the near future, I think, to do something like that.
Yeah, I actually have plans to try to integrate that into our stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm not
Yeah.
not sure if you want to discuss about that already, or if it's too soon.
Yeah, fuck it.
Do it.
Stuff you say. What stuff is this?
So a couple
Sleepy
years
Josh?
ago, I got into trying to find alternative social media, and stumbled across Mastodon. But within about 6 months, it became really clear that it's just another niche platform. It's just trying to be more siloed YouTube, but the technology is sound, and there's no social media that's good for activism anymore. All the activists just keep getting tanked. So I'm starting to work on that. So I resurrected one of my projects, and I've been working on it for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got
Nice.
some help jumping in, right? And now it's like
Much love to the Anons.
yeah, and now we're planning to make like a thing for activists, a social media for activists, by activists, open source and free. Right.
Correct.
So yeah.
This sounds amazing.
And I'm gonna it's gonna be done in stages. So the first stage I should be done in the next week or so, and that's just straight event planning pages where we can start trying to connect activists with like Facebook style events. And then after the next phase will be probably linking that all into Mastodon, and then kind of getting all that stuff integrated and what else ever we want into like a main site.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's already written. We just have to integrate a lot of things that have already been around.
Yeah, so that's a good start. So if you're building events and you're using like platforms like Facebook now, you know what you're dealing with there. You just have your accounts if you say the wrong stuff. So we're offering we got an alternative for that soon.
So this is like fucking incredible for me, because the way that Facebook is structured right now, it makes it counterintuitive for activists, especially activists in the West at this point, to try to use it to rally support for events. and that only goes so far on Twitter because of how siloed we are. And what we don't have currently is a social media platform with an events page that will help activists connect with each other, and that you can kind of, get a vague guess of how many people you can expect at your event. And this is something that we can hopefully use to kind of build out as a networking hub for other activists. Like, it's coming out of the Assange community, but man, I really hope that the activist community writ large jumps on this shit, because everybody needs somewhere that they can organize that isn't fucking Facebook. Nobody else is offering an events page, an events platform, an events feature. So fuck, dude, that's killer.
I'll be
I'm
right
stoked.
back. I gotta let my dog out.
Yeah, so we've been
Fuck your
gathering with some people,
Steve.
right? And so we have we have activists from Hong Kong, from India. We have activists from France, from the UK, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, the United States, right? From pretty much everywhere, just jumping in on it. And we have literally a global activist platform soon. And this is pretty much our war declaration against all the other social media, right? We're offering a real alternative by activists for activists, completely free and open source, right?
Not celebrities, not influencers, but activists and people who can't stand the censorship.
It's simple as that.
Yeah,
Celebrity.
I'm a believer, and if you build it, they'll come. I mean, if it's a need, and there is no spaces for activists at this point.
No, there isn't. Even though some media try it, right? Okay, so Mastodon is a good platform, but what is it missing? It's missing the events part, for example.
Yeah, it's also missing some moderation tools that. So the biggest problem with Mastodon is it's ran by a 25-year-old German guy who does not listen to his users, and so a lot of the features that these people need to keep their communities, to keep just horrible people out of their spaces and stuff, they're just not there. So it's a lot of infighting, but the network itself is fine, but yeah, the software is just garbage. And it's written in Ruby. It's trying to make anything concurrent and massive in Ruby is just a waste of time.
Yeah. And so what we can offer as an alternative is that we actually know what activists need, right? And we can listen to activists and can do it together as a community.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent the last 2 years trying to trying to just find platforms to organize on, and I came to the conclusion that they didn't exist about a year ago, and said I don't think it's even wanted. And I just kind of dropped it, but it's obviously needed. So here I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Even with the Millimad marches, for example, every year, we make these different lists of events, and for some reason people have to jump back to Facebook every time again to create their events, and it started to piss me off, but piss some other anons off too, who are no longer on Facebook because it's just a hostile platform. It's a surveillance tool. It's pretty much used by the governments to surveil on people, and it's not the place we should be.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's at least make them work for it.
Yeah. Just why would you use WhatsApp that's completely surveilled if you can use an encrypted alternative too? Why would you use Facebook if you can use another alternative too? Makes no sense. I know the issue have some people have issues with leaving. They say yeah, just all my friends are on here, and everyone is on here, right? That's what they say. And I always say yeah, but if these are the kind of friends who would go out with you into town to drink a coffee, they will also leave with you from that platform to another platform. You can just ask them and convince them. You can convince them to drink coffee with you in some cafe. Then you can also do that.
As long as you give them an equivalency, I think it'll be fine. And that's been my biggest problem with, especially Mastodon, is like there's a lot of stuff that just isn't there, and it just seems like an unfinished platform to me. And that's where Facebook wins. Is they've got event pages, they have groups, all that stuff that none of these other social medias have. So we need to fix that.
Yeah. So so the coming weeks, people can expect on social media, other social media, the rolling out of this new platform, right? More messaging about it, more news about it, and and soon the event stuff will be up, and then people can actually create their events there, and it will be a start of it.
Yeah, once I get the static events pages up, like just the event stuff, I'm gonna put more info on where people can find the code and contribute and all that stuff. Like, because we'll accept other developers doing pull requests and stuff. So if you want to get involved, all the info will be on there in about a week.
Nice.
So necessary right now. Everyone complains about censorship. Now we offer an alternative, and it will be great.
And I've seen so many I mean, another big problem I've seen is like most of these other platforms, it's all like just either Republican or Democrat kind of based. Like you don't have any diversity of people on there, and it's useless. It just gets them immediately shut into some box that the other team won't touch, and it's just like I think it's done on purpose just to keep people more divided.
Exactly.
Sorry, what was that last bit one more time?
Just that, like, I mean, you've got any other alternatives to like Twitter, for instance. You got like Gab and Parler and all that stuff. Like they're all geared to one political side or another, and it's not really social media. It's just like a team sports circle jerk.
Yeah, you're right. It's bubble media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we gotta get away from that.
Did you see what Parler wants for a verified account?
Yeah, they want your ID.
No.
Yeah, they want the front and the back of your ID, and like something else ridiculous too.
Huh?
Are
Yeah, I'm
you
good.
fucking kidding me?
How about a social security number while they're at it?
Right? You want my mother's maiden name too?
Right?
Bank account password while you're at it.
Last four social,
What was your favorite childhood pet?
When was the last time you took a shit?
I mean, they might know.
I'll send Gab a stool sample. I will.
Or 10.
I will. It may not be mine, but I'll send him one.
Parler's back online.
Yeah, I saw that it was either yesterday or before they finally found a server. And I don't have a problem with them being up or anything. I just think it's just like I said, it's a circle jerk of team sports. It's just such a bubble. Like I don't see how that's really social media. If you want just a chat platform for your team, fine, but it's not really social media in my opinion.
There's some guys that came over for a while. They got deleted off of YouTube that spent like 6 or 8 years trying to build over there, and in 6 months they got bigger numbers than in all those years on YouTube. I mean, it's just fucking waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Like, I mean, that's kind of why we're targeting like a specific group. Like, we're targeting activists, and I don't care what team your activism is for. Like, that's what the niche is supposed to be. Like, I don't care what team you're on. You want to do a right wing event, fine. You want to do a left wing event, fine. You want to do a post partisan event, fine. Like, that's the
Right?
point.
If it's a social media network, let's network.
I don't want to be stuck in a silo personally. I've
I've
done that for over 10 years on Twitter, and it's like I just see the same damn people, the same damn shit constantly, and it's useless.
This is why I'm really stoked that we're having Pierce Robinson on Sunday, and that dude Micah Dean or Micah Dank. Sorry, Micah Dank. Did you see any of that, Josh? That conversation?
No.
Okay, so this dude hit me up on Twitter. He's been on a bunch of the Union of the Unwanted hosts shows, or he's making like rounds on that circuit. But check this shit out, dude. This is gonna be fucking fascinating. He where is it at? Come on. Yeah, I don't need that.
Do you want me to read it?
Okay.
Because okay, never mind.
Yeah, he's got a 6-book deal called like something about like Down the Rabbit Hole or something like that. But gematria, etymology, numerology, astronomy, astrology, astrotheology, OBEs, the Ashkic records, symbology, remote viewing, religious secrets, capstones of the pyramids, the mystery schools, channelers, near-death experiences, DMT monitoring, lucid dreaming, acoustic levitation physics and quantum physics, psychotherapy, psychology, spiritual guides, and shared dreaming and crystal technology.
The fuck?
It sounds
His
basically trippy.
6-book
Yeah, I was gonna say
series.
DMT's good, but I don't know about the fucking crystal technology.
6-book series discusses astrotheology, astronomy, the zodiac, and the Bible, and how the Bible is an encoded astrology book. 10 years of research, and I believe I can make a good case for it and explain who's covertly hiding this information from the public. Bro,
What?
do you know how fucking awesome that's gonna be? That's gonna
Sounds
be
fun.
I mean, it'll be
fucking
entertaining, I'm sure.
epic, dude. You can, like, every once in a while, you just kind of have to like take a step away from the national security state horror show that we report on every single day that we do a show. Just for a couple of hours. I mean, it'll be a Sunday. We'll come back to the NatSec shit show that afternoon for the Rockfin.
Oh, goody.
You guy sounds like David Icke.
A little bit.
I didn't see anything about the Anunnaki in there, lizard people or shit like that. But I look, I'm fucking. I'll listen to David Icke talk too, man. That guy's fucking entertaining as shit.
He is. He's a good speaker, that guy. Definitely.
I mean, that's the thing. Like you don't have to agree with someone to have a conversation with them, and it really pisses me off that especially Americans have forgot that.
I mean, this has been the love it or leave it country since Vietnam.
I don't know. I mean, it's especially worse though. I used to be able to have conversations with people more seriously, like even 10 years ago. Like it's just gotten to absurd levels now.
That is 100% true. That is.
Like most of my friends are like married to right wingers and stuff, and like if I go by Twitter, like I can't talk to those people anymore because of who they voted for. I'm like, these are good people. Like I don't give a shit. As long as you're a decent human, care who the hell you vote for.
Yeah.
If that makes me a collaborator, fine. So be it.
If I hated everyone who voted within the duopoly, that'd be a lot of people to fucking hate. And I just don't want to do that.
And one of
First
the things I've told people is you keep canceling everyone, you're going to be stuck in a fucking room talking to yourself. Because no one's going to agree with you 100% ever. And they just don't care. They're just going to keep doing it.
You know, and you need to use some objective observation on it too, right? For someone to have a certain political opinion, it's always like rooted in some in facts, right? They get convinced of something because there is some factual stuff in it. If you like ignore people because they have a different political opinion, even though you could agree on certain things, right? You don't have to like agree on the full story. You like that's what you have what you're dealing with in the U.S. with the extreme polarization. Like you're either on the left or you're on the right, and what's even the difference at this point if both sides are completely hijacked by some authoritarian movement? Like,
It's just different. It's like different salad dressing on your salad. It's the same damn shit. It's just tastes a little different, but like it's the same crap.
Would Whitney say about the election, I don't care what kind of bread's on my shit sandwich?
Yeah, I don't care what kind of
Yeah.
yeah, something like that, but for sure.
no,
Still,
you can go with what Emma Goldman said. If voting mattered, they would make it illegal.
Fuck yes.
it's true.
I love that quote.
I don't know. I really hope this thing works, and you know, it'll help people start organizing because I think that's part of the problem. It's like no one wants to go protest by themselves. They need to. There needs to be better organizational tools besides all these ones that are, you know, surveilled by the government. So anytime you do have an event, and if something gets kind of squirrely, or you have infiltrators, they're gonna swoop all you up, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'll ever get away from that, though.
I mean, they collect everything for sure, but still make them work for it a little bit.
Yeah, you can make it really expensive for them.
Exactly. I mean, they're obviously going to be able to get whatever the hell they want, but you know, I don't want to just hand it to them.
No, I agree. It'd be better to get that phone number of my bail bondsman, that tattoo covered up with something else.
Yeah, they have to do a lot of effort to like get it out of us. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we're gonna log as little as possible. So like, yeah, take my damn server. You're gonna get shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we most of us know how to hide stuff pretty good. So you're working probably. Mark's pretty good about that. So you know,
Yeah,
Tyler,
that's
too.
especially for the event stuff. Like, I want this as anonymous as possible. Like, just to protect people. So it's, I mean, we're gonna do what we can. So that's the plan anyway.
And like the division you were talking about, you know, on this show, you know, Anonymous Bites Back. We've had everybody from, man, you wouldn't believe the extremes of people we've had that from every end of the spectrum. You know, I mean, people that were bootlickers to, you know, to wherever, to the furthest left you can get. But every one of them are treated with respect. I mean, you know,
Except for one
door's
guy.
always open.
One
Yeah,
time it mess up, but yeah, I'm still.
It doesn't kill you to fucking listen to people. It doesn't.
True. One time we did like openly mess up because we had this. Tyler remembers it. We had this Democracy Now guy on, and yeah, but we messed up
I know
because
where this is going.
yeah, no, we were like talking about 9/11, and he said like everyone who believes 9/11 is an inside job is wrong, and that hit like some of us like in the face. So we started like every time he was talking, every time he was saying something, we were like, what was like Jay was like burping and farting every time he said something. After that,
Oh my god, that's
really
some
bad.
excellent troll. That's a good trolling though.
You remember he
they have this-
kept on yelling. That was funny. What's wrong with this guy?
yeah, the guy was really angry.
We've got to start listening to people. Like, even if you don't have to even agree with them. It's not like just because you talk to somebody means you like want to do what they want to do. Like, I don't know. It drives me nuts how, especially the left, is so quick to just like cancel everybody for like a minor disagreement. Like, I don't get it.
But those,
Shut up,
then
Ash.
those are the people that you want to bring on. Then you want to bring them on and talk to them. I mean, find out the reason. It's the same thing. Like bring the people from the far right. And if you're not, you're going to get branded if you don't.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not even sure. Like, okay, so this maybe it's just like it's the economic left still, but I'm not even sure if that's true. But they have nothing of like Berkeley free speech movement, for example. Nothing of that.
Oh,
That was-
the U.S. has done a great job of killing most activist movements in this country, and so no one.
Yeah,
even
now
freaking tries.
now Berkeley is famous for not letting people come to their campus to talk.
Yeah, but there was a long time ago, it was famous for free speech and anti-segregation things, and yeah,
Not even that long ago. I mean, it's
No, I'm not-
a
not
trip
on the
seeing how stuff
timeline,
turned out.
really.
Again, California, it sucks.
yeah, no
just
extra.
California, it's coming out of Harvard, or it's coming out of Yale, it's coming out of the Northwest, the Southeast. It's coming from
No,
everywhere.
this is why Ray McGovern includes academia when he has the Mickey Mat acronym, the Military Industrial Congressional. God damn it.
Intelligence, media, academia, think tank
Media,
complex.
Academia, think tank complex. God damn it, dude! I was there. I was.
You were taking too long.
Academia has been, it continues to be just a playground for intelligence communities and narrative management, to the point to where Cynthia McKinney couldn't even get a fucking job in the West with her PhD. She had to go to Bangladesh in order to get a fucking job as a teacher at the university level with a PhD, because of just how blacklisted she had been and continues to be. Really, no, fucking Cynthia McKinney's told way too much truth and fucking talked to way too many different people that aren't supposed to like her and aren't supposed to agree with her. So she's pissed everybody off. I
Yeah,
love Cynthia McKinney. by the
I don't
way.
know. The
Me
last
too.
50 years has been like MK Ultra blended with academia, and then all of a sudden, you got this big worldwide experiment, and it's crazy. I mean, it really is. These people actually believe the shit that they're learning, though. What little they are teaching them beyond social stuff, I mean, other than that, they're actually believing it all.
Dead air. I mean, what the hell is it gonna? What is it gonna take for this damn country to take back some freaking agency? Like, they just all go along with it. Like everything's cool. Like, I don't get it. Like, what the hell happened to us that we're just have turned into 1984 subservient people?
You can't even get the teachers back in school now.
What
It's
did I
sad.
see that was so fucked up? It was super counterintuitive. It was like, oh, they wanted to basically like force vaccinate teachers before they returned to the classroom. That's what I saw. That was just really stupid.
Yeah, I saw another one where the teachers they're saying they're not essential workers or something too.
Well, they proved that with online school.
Yeah, but the kids have been out of school for 2 years, and now they're 4 years behind.
Oh man, my kid is struggling with this distance crap. Like, I'll be shocked if she freaking passes this grade.
Well, here in just a 7-county area, which is a pretty big county in some of these counties, they've got 90,000 missing students that signed up for school but aren't virtual and they're not in the class, and they got it. So they're sending like a school SWAT team out to find these 90,000 people that are missing.
Well, they're losing money. I mean, that's the only reason they're doing that. It's because, you know, they get paid on, you know, like student per head per day. Like, that's it.
Oh yeah, the unions can't make that big contribution next year.
Yeah, education in this country is ridiculous.
Set up like that as on purpose, right? It's not just your country, by the way.
I mean, and it is regional too, because my daughter's in another state, and her state is like hands down better than California's. I mean, like they cut our music programs and our art programs by the time I was out of high school, and that was, you know, like over 20 years ago, basically. So like, and they have like mandatory music, mandatory art when they're younger and stuff, and they don't do that in a lot of the bigger states. So like, you've got these big states controlling everything, and they have the dumbest population.
It's like that where Burmis is at in Iowa too. His nieces just went back to school starting Monday. Like everybody's back. The Iowa's open. Like, I guess they're in the, you know, they're in the Midwest. They're not a big state. I guess nobody's really checking in on Iowa, but they're open. They have been, like, pretty much the whole time. There hasn't been a massive spike in death or illness. It's super weird.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see that graph today? And that California's, you know, Rona numbers have gone magically down like, significantly a day after, or a day after Biden got elected.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, I think
They had
80
just
million people
issued that
forecasted
order
that.
that made everybody close restaurants and bars and fucking everything all over again. And 3 days later, everything opened back up.
It's almost
for
like
the
they
most
planned
part.
it that way.
Right? Jesus, man.
Yeah, but they'll never admit it. I mean, they'll still.
Oh, hell no.
I mean, they still want to stick that damn needle in you.
I keep
Oh,
telling you
joy.
guys, the coronavirus knew that Joe Biden was the new sheriff in town, and that Joey B is not afraid to go grab him a length of chain and take the coronavirus out to the
Oh,
parking lot.
God.
I mean, yeah, Corn Pop was a bad dude.
He was a bad dude.
Corona, bad dude.
Corona Pop was a bad dude. Corona Pop. I don't know. But yeah, Joe Biden threatened to fist fight the coronavirus. The coronavirus got scared, and all the numbers
Definitely live in a
magically dropped.
Yeah, I like that when Biden's making speeches and stuff. They got his eyes. You know, you look at his eyes, man. I mean, his eyes are real squinted, and he's looking in a straight line. They got to have some guy standing up there with one of those pointers pointing out every word for him to read or something. That guy put anybody to sleep, man. I mean, it's like damn.
Yeah, it's weekend at Biden's. It's all it is. They're going to do that for 2 years.
At least Trump was entertaining, man. I mean, I don't support the guy, but I mean, he could make a mess out of shit real quick. Biden can't even make a mess.
He can make a mess in his pants on TV.
Oh, they got double depends on his ass.
Oh, did you see that speech where like you could hear him crap himself on camera? It was
Just
awful.
that was fucking wet, dude. That was bad.
Disgusting, man.
It was bad.
I'm like, y'all want me to vote for this guy? Yeah, I'm good.
And he gets that kind of oopsie doopsie look on his face for a half a second too.
He got that one flew over the look on his face every time anyway.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
Like the part of me that you know has empathy for all living things sees that it's elder abuse, and I feel kind of bad until I remember that guy's a fucking soulless pedophile, and then I don't feel as bad that they're parading this demented fucking war criminal around for everybody, just kind of rubbing it in our face that Kamala Harris is really the president. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's being used by the party, by them all, man, just to prop up the Mickey Matt.
Kamala Harris isn't smart enough to play that role.
Yes,
The dude straight down. It's Susan Rice is who's pulling the strings, straight out of the Obama administration. She's the one doing it all.
Yeah, no, all Kamala has to do is go out and say some words and laugh at the exact wrong moment, like she's Dr. Hibbert on The Simpsons. And it's what, Duper's delight. That's what it is, the involuntary laugh when you think that you're getting away with pulling one over on the entire fucking world. But that's all she has to do. She's a vessel. She's an empty vessel to be pointed in whatever direction power points it, because she will receive some of that power or the rewards of being close to that power. That's
Who's doing that? I guess
Miller.
I saw something on TV today somewhere that they're doing a unveiling of Kamala Harris at 8 p.m. on Saturday on one of the news channels. I'm not even sure which one it is. But they're supposed to have all the witnesses and all the people that have known her since she was a kid on there or something. I'm sure it's one of the right-wing ones, but I'm not sure which one it was. I just saw a preview somewhere.
I mean, Harris, her dad came out and called her full of shit. Like, you got to be useless if your parent won't even stand up for you.
That was close to my heart. Fucking coming out of the ward work in Jamaica to tell everybody, yeah, my daughters are full of shit. So close to my heart. I'll never forget that story.
Yeah, you can still see the handprint on her face where she's been pimp slapped so many times.
Yeah, and it's a Masonic ring, and it says Billy Brown on
Unity.
it.
Nah, she got the Unity ring.
Right. Man.
It was kind of weird the other day. I don't know if we covered that or not, but when Biden come out and he was telling that minorities aren't smart enough to use the internet, so you need to go door to door. And I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, and then the whole thing about swimming
people-
across the Rio Grande.
they don't
That was
know-
great.
Did he really
bro,
say
they
that
don't know
stuff?
how to
or-
get on. They don't know how to get online to get in line at Walgreens. Yeah.
Right?
Fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Black
the
people
Rio
don't
Grande
know
thing, and
how
he's
to
like, "Oh,
queue."
pardon me, I'm Irish," or something like that. I'm like, "What the hell, dude?"
Yeah, that's my Irish coming out. Don't worry about that. I just disparaged another entire people while I was trying to disparage the Mexicans. Like, are you the fucking Joby?
Remember,
The old Delaware daughter sniffer.
remember when
old
he said that he
Grandpa
was
broke between.
if you don't vote for him, you ain't black.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Then he changed that. He said, if you're black and you vote for Trump, you're not black.
Oh, that's so much better.
Why'd you
Dude,
say that here?
Why do they let that guy in public? Haven't they learned yet?
So my original theory was, and I remember telling this to the artist formerly known as Pat the Burner. My original theory was that Joe Biden has so egregiously fucked up in some way, shape, or form, or like so egregiously wronged a couple of the key members of the Predator class that his punishment is to be paraded in front of the entire world as they watch his real-time mental collapse.
Yeah,
That was my original theory. And then I realized that like he's perfect. He's literally malleable. All you have to do is shoot him full of enough cognizant drugs for him to get kind of through the interview or kind of through the town hall. He'll have no idea what he said. He'll believe everything he said because he's got to fight like hell to fucking, get the words right. So there's going to be emotion behind it. And the whole time, he's just a literal empty suit. Until it's 2 years in a day, and then they can be like, "Oh, Joey B fell down some steps," and Kamala Harris can then be eligible to be president for a decade if he makes it 2 years in a day.
2 years in a day, the right's going to take over Congress. They're going to start impeaching everybody. But
yeah, that's the like. Do they really think they can get 10 years or 12 years or whatever the hell it is? Do they really believe that?
Sure.
what's
you
really
get them
scary
changed.
is they, how many people did the Democrat run in the primaries? They had like 18 candidates, and Joe Biden was the best one out of them.
Right.
He was the most malleable.
Dude, a ham sandwich would have pulled better.
He was the one that owed his entire 47-year political career to deep state. So,
actually,
I mean,
he was the best connected guy.
The Clinton donor money picked Kamala Harris at the Hamptons in 2018. And then the people were introduced to Kamala Harris, and the people went, ew.
Nope.
Nah. She didn't pull a delegate, not a single delegate, and she's a very weak heartbeat away from the presidency. This is it. It's more than what Barack Obama was in terms of just like how craven and empty and fucking just what a dead-eyed soulless servant to power she is. Like, this is like the technocracy's fucking vision fulfilled.
So it is
Maybe AOC is, but they might not have to wait that long. AOC is a contingency plan.
She's a three-letter agency
Outstanding.
walking around. But like Alamo says, he says this is the best democracy money can buy. I think there's your big problem. You have the media running everything. You need the mainstream out. Like, the only parties who are winning are these parties who get airtime on these big media. You need those people out. And that's one way our own social network can help with.
Yeah, we are proof that large amounts of money can and do corrupt the government. We're proof of that.
No, it's not just in the U.S. It's like the entire West is like completely controlled by media. They make or break. They even give like nicknames to like a politician, and everyone runs with it. Like the mainstream, but also the so-called alternative media uses the same nicknames. They take the same narratives, everything. So it's really
You are so right, and that is so fucking frustrating. And we get a significant amount of hate. Gloria and I do for pointing that out. But I mean that's the woke indie media model is play a clip of mainstream media, wag your finger at it, play another clip of mainstream media, wag your finger at it, have on a progressive or lefty politician advocate for their political advancement, throw the link to where you can donate to them, show another clip of mainstream media, wag your finger at it.
Gas up a random AOC tweet.
Yeah, but see, that's what
Yeah.
people don't get in the alternative. Then I know what you guys mean, and it's completely true. Like that, the mainstream still makes their narrative, and that these people are mostly put
Yes.
in place to be attacked. They're put there. They're actors put in place, and they're perfectly fine with being attacked. That's their role, right? These people behind the scenes stay out of the picture. So they play their role. Like the politicians, they're perfectly fine with it. I mean. AOC knows she's going to be attacked by pretty much everyone who is not Maoist or whatever. So yeah.
I mean, what
Maoist. Jesus
what does
Christ.
what does Gordon say?
They're
Gordon
fucking, the
says,
DSA. They're little capitalists. They're fucking. They're socialists till they need to fucking until they get fucking kicked out of their girlfriend's house.
They're
And
about
they're-
as socialist as I am a Liverpool fan.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't consider the Chinese Maoist socialists either. I'm just saying our communists.
That's true.
That's
That's
Oh,
true.
China's
No.
become more of like a corporate-run oligarchy.
Yeah.
It's state capitalism.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
communists. I mean, they're very capitalistic.
Yeah. State capitalism is the means of production go to the bureaucracy, not to the CEO or shareholders. The bureaucracy is the shareholder. It's not like it ever goes to the people.
The generals run the companies, and then all the financing, and I mean, it's all tied together with the party interests. And
Yeah, you saw what happened to that Alibaba guy, right? He was like a little bit critical of the government, and then he just disappeared for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
oh, you know he got a talking to.
Yeah. The Jack Ma. Is that guy.
That guy
think
freaks me out, by the way.
He's
How about that
kind
guy Navalny in Russia? What's going on with that one?
He got locked up for 3.5 years, and they killed his
probably
doctor.
died.
Yeah, his doctor mysteriously just had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. But that is also like there's different possibilities with that. Like, okay, so there's a huge crowd that says like, yeah, he's probably U.S. Controlled. There's this huge crowd say like, no, he's actually just a friend of Putin. They're the same team, and he just plays opposition. And there is also like a big
Going to
crowd.
jail, that argument doesn't make any sense though. He's really in jail.
He is, but yeah, they could be playing, and he could be playing a role in that too. I mean, he comes from big old Russian money too, so yeah. So yeah, they needed opposition, and there isn't an opposition in Putin's Russia at this point. So
I mean, why did
Yeah.
they pick like the most racist dude they could find though? Like, really?
Well, I mean, it's when the U.S. does a color revolution and they get a puppet that they want to overthrow the puppet that wore out their welcome. They go for a true scumbag because they're easier to manage. Like they go for somebody with a lot of baggage already.
Yeah.
yeah,
Juan
but he
Guaido
is.
is a human troll face.
But in Navalny's case, it is very visible that he is a very big supporter of Crimea belonging to Russia, and the West wants Crimea with Ukraine, and literally waged like some kind of like a proxy war with Russia over Crimea in the past. That's one problem I have with the whole CIA narrative, which could be possible. I mean, it could be just that they did that on purpose to make him look more.
When
legit.
every single American politician and every single mainstream news outlet and every single the UK just got busted. We'll get to that, but when every single mainstream politician and news outlet is showcasing the plight of this poor political prisoner.
I get that.
Well,
part,
there's
yeah.
I mean that raises a forest of red flags.
Yeah, but then it's the only thing like we need to prove if that's opportunism and they see they have like a clean shot against them, or if that's pre-planned. I don't know. I can't say that.
I mean, it's hard to tell. They have so many intelligence people or ex-intelligence on these, especially mainstream media's payroll. Like, can we
Yeah.
even know?
Then there is another issue that the Russian intelligence just meets with Western intelligence too, and I mean it could totally be played out again. Like we're being fucked over when they're both showing up at Davos meetings and stuff. So I don't know even. I don't know what point are we at even in geopolitics? I don't know. Is it even are they even really enemies at this point still, or is it just like they're enemies on one front and they're friends on the other? Right? So hard to say that. Like we discussed about that Cold War situation too. It actually benefited both sides.
I mean, I personally think that pretty much every government wants most of us dead. That's my baseline.
Well, you can see, like, if you look at the U.S., you have this whole authoritarian movement, like, getting into both sides of politics. Pretty sure that they are not limited by borders, and that they have this big billionaire lobbyist behind them, and that they're literally going into every country, pushing this authoritarianism in everywhere. And we're just going to have to deal with it all over the world. Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see this? NATO announced they're launching a multi-thousand troop surge in Iraq following enthusiastic support from the Biden administration, who was quoted saying they welcome NATO's increased focus on Iraq.
Well, I hate to say it, but Joe Biden is a known Zionist.
Yeah, he's
that's
on
true.
camera screaming
I mean,
into the
yeah.
microphone. I'm a Zionist.
he's coming-
You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. That's what he's screaming into the camera. He's
Yeah, I mean,
also
he said it many. Yeah, he said it many times. I mean, he might be bigger than Trump on that. So
I guarantee you that when Bibi named it the Trump Heights, Joe Biden
Got
shot
jealous.
every television in his house. And he was like, it was his first lucid moment, and it's probably his only lucid moment from here until he steps on a rainbow, that he is going to get a larger settlement named after him.
I mean,
That is his only lucid thought.
hasn't Camillery like been at APAC and spoke at that shit and stuff too? I mean, I don't think it
Yeah.
really
Dude,
matters.
her
who's on.
APAC speeches are almost a carbon copy of herself's. And Hillary Clinton's APAC speeches are some of the most frightening things you could ever listen to. Yeah. Vanessa Beeley, when she was reporting on this back at the beginning of January, when Israel was continuing their completely slept on bombing campaign in Syria, she's been framing it as the Trump Biden doctrine for Syria. It is. This is continuity of government. This is this is the policy, the overarching policy. We are going to engage in forever wars in the Mideast as both shield and sword for our lone ally in the region.
oh man, we got so many allies over there. That's why this is all kind of fishy. You know, it's
Is it
too
still a
scripted.
coalition of the willing if you're using extortion?
Well, extortion makes you more willing, especially the way we do it.
You don't
It's
take
more of
what
a
we say.
yeah, it's more of a Romanesque style way of running an empire. You know, it's like you either do what we say or we crush you. You know, that's the deal.
Shake my hand or look up and see that drone over your head.
That's
Yeah.
that's a peace dove with love letters. That's not a drone with bombs.
It's a
We're not
drone
like
with a
that.
rainbow flag. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So the code word is love letters for bunker busters.
Bunker Buster. I remember seeing that on TV. Bunker Buster over Baghdad. I was thinking like, what's happening to these civilians living there?
Yeah, they're dropping bombs that'll penetrate like 200 or 300 foot of solid granite. You know, in the city, it's like that is. You know, who the hell thinks this is logical?
It's not. These people didn't even have weapons to even defend against the U.S. Army. It was never needed to throw bunker busters in a city. So,
I mean, there's reasons. They're not good reasons.
yeah.
They need a lake.
So if you wanted to take that government down, it would have been enough to just send like 2 Black Hawk helicopters. Seriously, take out their government instead of like destroying 1 million people's lives. But,
Yeah, we've always got to overkill and kill as many civilians as possible. It seems to be our MO in wars.
Well, now we send our guys to stand behind. We train their troops and we stand behind them and let them do the killing, and then our people that are training them are like, oh, we didn't do it.
yeah, I was saying that you created that government, right? The government was fully created by the CIA.
Yeah, just because we left more weapons in Afghanistan than probably, most countries of any size got, that doesn't mean that, we did anything wrong.
No.
Shit, we leave scraps of war everywhere: ammunition, guns, tanks, whatever. I mean, we just leave them. So they, I guess, so they can take their kids to school.
And the USA never leaves either, where they're staying, where they're going. Like what the country they're invading, they're putting permanent bases, and that's the weird thing to me. There are still military bases
in Germany.
Yeah, that was what I'm going to say too. It's still in Germany.
We're
Since
still in South Korea. We're still in fucking Japan.
Somebody was saying yesterday that they pulled the National Guard out of Washington, D.C. That'll be the first capital that the U.S. has left in 200 years.
Right?
Hell yeah.
No, it's true.
That's legit.
Why would you even be in Germany?
But are they going to leave the capital? Because I don't think they're going to leave the capital.
No, they're building a wall behind that fence.
Yeah, I think the National Guard is going to be a permanent fixture in DC pretty damn soon.
Well, they did it in Hong Kong. I mean, look at Hong Kong, where they had the national headquarters in Hong Kong. Now they put up fences. It's a big communist compound now with the big red stars on it, and as soon as they started putting them fences up in DC, I'm like, here it goes. They got, once COVID came in place, they passed that law in Hong Kong in June where they could arrest anybody that said one word about the government. And now they're just following suit right here in Washington, D.C. It's all happening. I mean, it's not a joke.
I mean, this is why I want to go hide in the woods.
That's why I'm in the woods. I'm way deep in the swamp. That's why I was talking about satellites.
I'm extremely jealous.
Yeah, man. Like I'm in the woods, but I could go deeper. Yes, everyone.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. I figured I'd head that off in the past.
Why do you got to throw softballs at me like that? Come on.
Look, man. Look.
More like bait.
You are making it pretty easy, Steve. Not gonna
I
lie.
know, man. I know. I'm sorry. I will make it more of a challenge in the future. Yeah.
Let me see if I put some links in earlier. I'm gonna go find some. Hold on.
I want like a wiki too, like a Wikipedia style platform. We don't have this
Oh,
weird
what
censorship
glory?
going on.
I was thinking about
What?
putting something up with Glory actually.
The real Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia that doesn't give my account fucking 10 vandalism notices for putting the truth.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I was thinking about basically mirroring Wikipedia's data, throwing up a wiki, and just start editing the hell out of it.
Yeah, the script itself is open source. I mean,
Yeah, you can download the whole damn thing, and I prefer other wiki software, but like, yeah, it's not hard.
no.
Yeah, you could definitely work with it. Just like Activistpedia or something, Actipedia or something.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
like they have Wiki Spook, right? Or Wiki Spooks, but this would be more like I don't know, man, Actualpedia,
Yeah, something like that.
where you would get like, oh, and this war criminal is connected to this war criminal who's connected to this sex trafficker who fuck, you know, shit
Not
like that.
talking about putting up the truth, are you?
I mean, we could throw it up on Tor too.
Everywhere,
Yeah,
everywhere.
just put like a dot onion on it for it too. Yeah,
Yeah, like I mean, there's ways around it. Like, but yeah, like I think it's a good idea. It'd at least be fun.
Speaking of,
But this does need collective work, Glory. This
This is, I mean, this is what we need right now. We need a resurgence of Anons having fun on the internet who are ready to mobilize in the physical space as well.
Let's do it. I mean, there's no.
It's the only thing
I
that's
think
gonna get us. It's the only thing that's gonna get us to secure some press freedom. It's what it's going to take to get Julian out of Belmarsh. Like every fucking little fucking freak out there with Guy Fawkes mask needs to remember why they have that mask. Fucking,
Yeah.
we should all, you know, get to work.
I'm pretty sure our window of time to be able to like do this stuff is very, very small at this point. Like, and you know, no time like the present to at least try.
Right? This moment, Sleepy Josh, this moment is a gift, and that's why they call it the present.
Isn't that mean? Isn't that Panda movie?
I have no idea.
See, and we know what makes me sad. I don't think it's even Jimmy Wales who like started like Wikimedia Foundation is behind that stuff. It's other people he's like forced to let in because that guy's actually on Twitter. I talked to him, Jimmy Wales, and he's like the founder of Wikipedia, and he was very much in solidarity with like Stop Acta 2. He wanted to put pages on black during the earlier events with Aaron Swartz, etc. He's very much in solidarity, and he speaks out against it too, against the internet censorship. I don't think it's him. There's other
heck
people.
no. I mean, look at that Philip Cross account. I mean, that thing, like,
That's
does
at
like
least
20
3
hours.
people.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's a bot. It's controlled by some agency of some kind, and like, how many of those are there on there? Like, I'd be interested to start keeping track.
There's like a club of moderators that took it over. Like there's like some kind of a group that completely controls the narrative these moderators on Wikipedia are having.
I think it's the intelligence agencies that do it. I think they've got to have the people in there. I mean, how else could they do it?
Yeah, the site is too big not to have your people in it. Because it ends up like on top rankings for every search term. So they have it in there. Otherwise they wouldn't even have that do it. They wouldn't even have Google allow that to happen.
I mean, Google owns it all. Google owns everything. I mean, they run Facebook, they run Twitter. I mean,
Well, they own the search results, and they wouldn't have Wikipedia and on top if it wasn't in some way complicit with their whole Five Eyes thing.
yeah, if you're sitting out there with the truth, it's going to be buried so deep in pages that you'll run out of memory before you get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like when you go on, you know, Twitter. Like if you don't go on your account or any one of these accounts now, all the captions to get on there, you got to log back in, are all Google captions. I mean, so you know they're all working for Google now.
I mean, they have to be able to get in their good graces on the search engine. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. They make partnerships behind the scenes. Yeah. That's why we need an alternative. But we need we need to push direct traffic, and we need to abuse all these platforms to push that direct traffic to a network until it's big enough.
Yeah, this centralizing the whole damn internet has not gone well.
We won't probably we won't get the search traffic or whatever. We need to push like the direct traffic.
No, that's what I mean. Like we need to go back to the more decentralized days where you actually went to someone's website.
Well, they, Tim Berners-Lee has been trying to work on a. What was he working? He's been working on something. What's it called? Simple. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was essentially a tool to take like control over all your social media and have like all the data removed when you want it and stuff.
No.
Control everything at once, right?
Yeah, no. He was trying to make. I forget. He was kind of sick of the. What he wanted. He wanted, essentially the internet to be a tool that would interconnect us, but he saw that companies were trying to stop that whole process. So I think he was trying to make something. I don't know if I didn't read the tech details. I don't know if he was working on like something like blockchain or something that was a lot more decentralized. I'm not. I wasn't really too on the schematics, but he was thinking of redesigning the whole thing. But I say Tim Berners-Lee, and nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about. So I mean, I don't think he has as much sway as he did in the '90s. A decentralized. It already is decentralized, though. That doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. He was trying to redesign something, an alternative of what we have, but it just seems like it's getting no traction. I think we talked about it like 2 years ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I thought it. I know, but I thought it wasn't it that solid thing or whatever.
Solid, yeah, solid, not simple.
That's what I'm
Solid,
saying.
solid. Yeah.
We did talk about that. We had
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff about that for a while.
I just don't remember what he was trying to build.
Trying to build an alternative to the internet.
Yeah.
That he was saying was going to be, it was going to take over. It was going to be, somewhere in between like the dark net and the clear net and stuff. And, it was supposed to grow, but I think the alphabet agency probably infiltrated and killed that or stole the code from him or something.
Well, there's all sorts of like alternative stuff that's out there. I mean, you got peer-to-peer nets, like I2P. You have GNU-net, Freenet, some of which have not gone anywhere. I2P here and there has been affiliated with some of the darker activities. But having even LokiNet, that's kind of gone nowhere, which was using Tor in the background. But I don't know. There's been a lot of alternatives, but if people don't know it exists, then
That's it. It's got to get
it has
publicity.
to get. Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be easy to use, and it's just like it's like Linux trying to get in between Apple and Windows. I mean, there's still, even though it's a better platform, or operating system and, everything else, you can't get in there because they suck all the oxygen out of the room.
Yeah.
I mean, then you've got Microsoft now co-opting the crap out of it because they, lost the lawsuit war on that. So like, and then all the Internet of Things and all that, that's all run in Linux. It's just, it's widely used. It's just people don't know it's widely used.
I've always heard that they're going to try and build a hybrid, like a Windows.
They are.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
The
It's already out.
the
I've
got a
the Windows WSL. That's what they're doing.
I was playing around with the God, it was got 3 years ago. I was playing around with the they have an option on the Microsoft App Store where you can, you have to get into the PowerShell, you have to give it a few commands, but you can have a Linux terminal within it. Lo and behold, it has.
Oh no, that's built in now, like 100%.
That's built in now?
Once you, yeah, if you install WSL, like you get all that stuff.
It's in
So,
the
yeah,
new
they-
version.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I've
stopped
got-
using it. I stopped using it once it destroyed one of my computers.
Yeah, I try not to mess around with Microsoft garbage.
Well, I one with just to see what they're doing, and it's got the evaluation copies on it, and I keep and I run that one just to see what they're putting in it. And yes, Linux programs are compatible. You can actually launch them and run them on the new Windows now. The newer versions, last couple updates.
Yeah, they'll. I suspect eventually they're gonna replace their own kernel with it. That's my guess.
Well,
And
it's
just
it's not as
have the
bulky,
crappy
Dick.
interface over it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you boot up Linux, and Linux bare bones can run on less than 500 megabytes of RAM.
Oh yeah, easily.
So 256 is like the minimum, but I mean, with all of the extra bullshit, Windows is really just. I don't know.
Loaded.
For me, I always think you get a bunch of programmers and software engineers. They all speak different languages. Nobody's speaking together, and then they get somebody to slap it all together, and it doesn't work right. That's pretty much what I think Windows does. They don't have a great track record.
I mean, just run the stuff in a production. Run Windows servers in a production environment. You quickly realize it's a pile of shit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think the
Wow.
only contribution they have is like the LDAP stuff, and even though it's Active Directory crap, it's somewhat useful. But like other than that, like it's useless. Like you can run Postgres on that thing, and it runs like garbage. Same hardware, Linux. It's like 5,000 times faster.
It's got the pretty colors, Josh.
I know, it's so pretty. I mean, Linux is fairly pretty these days too. So I don't know.
Well, Linux is like 90% of like the underbelly of the internet, but yet less than 2% of the users use it.
Oh, for sure. I'm
don't
one of the only
understand that.
people I know that. Yeah, it's been my daily driver since the 90s, and before that it was like Solaris and BSD and stuff, and like I figured it would have caught on a little bit more by now, but it just hasn't.
Well, but is it less difficult than people think? Because my mom used it for 10 years or something.
Yeah, when my mom was still around, like I set up a Linux box for her, and she used that thing until it died. Like,
Well,
it
she
was
used to call me all the time saying she had like a virus on her computer and stuff, and I was sick and tired of it. I had to come over all the time to, fixing that stuff because she clicks every pop-up and stuff, right? So
yeah,
Yeah.
I know that story.
yeah, so I just put like a Linux on it, and she never called again to fix it. Never. She just uses it, and it works fine for her because she can still click everything, and it's very easy to use.
Well, especially
Yeah.
Ubuntu. You don't have to be that well, technically inclined to use Ubuntu.
Oh, it's Ubuntu. She uses,
Yeah.
Very easy for her.
Yeah, Ubuntu
Yeah,
is pretty stable.
My issue with Ubuntu is like I've had it like just brick on updates before, so I moved away from it years ago. But I hear it's a little better these days.
I've had that happen to a few distros several times. Actually, a lot of distros over the years. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just used to Debian-based systems, and Ubuntu is for that it's like literally it's like the normal people thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to install that much stuff just for a normal user. I just don't like it for development personally.
Did you find out why your Discord keeps crashing? Because I have the same thing.
No, I'm using the Snap one. I need to just install it normally, and I had better luck with that. But no, I'm running. I booted up into Windows like I was going to stream and just use my laptop for this.
Okay.
I think it's just a crappy Snap package.
Oh, it's happening to me too. On
It just-
random moments. And
Yeah, it just started happening to me, so I think it's one of the last updates that started doing that. So I'm gonna go dig in some forums and stuff and see if it's a Snap issue or a Discord issue.
sucks too, right? It's like years old software, and they make like a new update and it starts crashing. Like,
That's
Why'd you
that
do it?
happens. Yeah,
I hate Discord so much.
that's another thing we need. Alternative.
doesn't
chat.
one of their devs like he has like a Twitch channel where he smokes weed every day and plays video games?
I think so.
Yeah, it's called breakfast. It's called Mario Breakfast, Mario Baking Breakfast, something like that.
I mean, you could always like set up. You could either use like my Jitsi server, Mark, because I have it set up for like green screen and stuff for streaming, or you could even you could set up Element and then just you could embed Jitsi in there, so it'd be more like Discord.
It's a good idea. I just have to make all the rest do it too, Dan.
Yeah,
I used
it's a
Matrix
struggle.
before. You know.
It's gotten a lot better, so it's pretty solid now. And it's pretty easy to set up your own server too if you just want to self-host it, the whole damn thing. And it still federates. Like if you still want it to federate with like, matrix.org users, you can do that.
Yeah.
So hit me up if you need help with that because I've done a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's the problem. I mean, we need everyone to switch, right? I mean, it's. Yeah.
I've had pretty good luck. I've gotten most people I know on there at this point. And I've got, A4A on there. We've got Slow News Day peeps on there. So and people are starting to go over to there. Like we've gotten some other content creators on there. So it's starting to grow, I think.
Okay. That's good news, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get people on there for a year, and it's just now starting to like make a difference. People are starting to listen to me as all this shady crap about Signal keeps coming out and stuff like that. So I think we're at the point where people are going to start using it more.
I just want to
Signal,
point out that my tech dumb ass listened to Josh on the first day.
He did.
I listened to Josh the first time he told me to.
It's true.
Yeah.
Sleepy J, we hear you. We see you.
It took the rest of A for a minute, but
I have my bad feelings
I'm
about.
telling you, Blues on the Banjo is the most revolutionary song that's been written in the last several years. You have to listen to Blues on the Banjo by Todd Snyder.
Hey, so Sleepy, I had my bad feelings about Signal from the start already because they were forced people to use phone numbers back then.
yeah, I mean that's
Right.
my biggest point with Signal. It's like, yeah, they might not, even if they can't
Right.
read your messages, they can still map out all your relationships easily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I said to Snowden too. He was promoting that Signal stuff, and I made a quote tweet above it, and I was said I'm very disappointed with that stuff because you're well aware that they can map all your contacts using the phone numbers.
What
It's
about
very
what about
simple.
what about apps like I've never been I always knew that was a flaw, but I mean Wire and Wicker seem to be greater alternatives than Signal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Even
okay with
Telegram.
Telegram, no, it does the same thing as Signal. It announces.
Yeah.
I guess so, huh?
Yeah.
the guys the Russian dudes who wrote Signal are kind of, or not Signal, Telegram, or I hear they're kind of shady.
Telegram. They're shady.
Telegram, yeah, they're shady. So I don't trust them anymore, and I trust Signal.
Yeah, because
Just-
Telegram switched to Amazon service too at some point, right?
Oh, great.
Yeah, but
Oh.
that's just fair. Just that's the U.S. government. That's Amazon. There's no other way to describe it.
Get on Element, peoples. Get rid of these stupid platforms.
Put that in your bucket.
I mean, if I my baseline is if I can't self-host something,
Yes.
then it's something shady about it. And Wire you can self-host, Element you can, or Element/Matrix you can self-host. You know, there's other things too, but like if you can't self-host it, they're hiding something.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of those, the social media platforms out there, like you can't use a Proton Mail, or you can't, you can't use anything that's like an anonymous. You got to use we want your account, if you don't give them a phone number, they basically, want 4 other things. And
You remember?
I don't know why
Puppet
people
was
do
pretty
it
good.
though. People do that though. I mean, these people like them Facebook people, man. Them people give their information of their whole lives to Facebook, and they don't even, and they're like, "Well, I don't have nothing to hide." I'm just like, that isn't the point. They don't get it.
Yeah, they don't have nothing to hide until they make mundane shit illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said that to activists too. It's pretty much like when you organize on Facebook, it's pretty much having your meetups in the local police station. So
Yeah, I mean that's why we've used other not spied upon platforms to do all of our activist planning. I mean, we do none of that.
I do love I love the Snowden quote that arguing that you don't care about the right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say.
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, Google.
Oh, and it makes people so mad when you throw that out at them. They get so fucking it's great.
Or what,
It's fantastic. It's a good one to just kind of put in your pocket and walk around with.
Yeah, well, it was Joseph Goebbels from the Nazi Party who said, "If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear." And Zuckerberg said the same thing exactly 80 years later.
He did. He did.
Wow. I didn't
remember
catch that.
What's the theme on Twitter or what the system?
I remember that.
Oh, it's the truth. And I mean, it's funny. It's exactly 80 years. Everyone from that generation is dead. They don't know. They don't know it anymore. So. Yeah.
Yeah, no one learns from history.
No. No.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and what do you know? Like, what is legal now doesn't have to be legal 5 years from now.
Sure, at this point in 5 weeks.
Hmm.
I mean, I firmly believe that protesting is going to be severely limited in the U.S. in the next year.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just gonna say it's a riot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is why we're trying to get as many people out as we can for the March events and whatever we cook up for April 11th for the 2 years of since Julian has been dragged out of the embassy.
Is your microphone like trying to communicate with aliens or something? Because I don't like
his-
That's
his-
cell
his-
phone interference.
Yeah, it's his phone. It does that when we're streaming sometimes.
My phone is now far away from my microphone.
appreciated because that's down, man.
Fuck's sake.
You all right, Glory?
No, that wasn't at fucking. Because I forgot that you can't link WikiLeaks in Wikipedia edits, or else it puts your edits into pending.
Really?
Seriously.
Yeah. I'll
Well,
send you.
you know a Wikipedia admin. I mean, should I say that? No, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
He's on our social
Well,
media team.
All the things that get fucking edited on Wikipedia now, it's going to be blamed on us.
We're going to take over there until it's dead, and then we will have replaced it with an activist Wikipedia.
Well,
I'll get on that. That's easy.
We had one long ago for Occupy, but that one is pretty much.
there's always Everpedia, the decentralized version.
I'll have to check into that one.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
We had an
Just
Occupedia in
another
2000.
page.
I thought the name was actually pretty good, Occupedia. But
It's
it is,
catchy.
yeah, that was long.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
this is 2011, I think.
It would have been good years ago.
Yeah.
Now just be like Occupedia. What the fuck?
I mean, honestly, we should be occupying the shit out of everything again, but
So my computer decided it was going to kill itself with a kernel update.
Yay.
yay!
So I spent like the whole evening fixing it and going into safe mode, man. Jesus Christ. You would think that they would fix that shit by now. There's no reason that kernel updates should be automatic.
I mean, that's why I quit running Ubuntu. Like, it did that crap to me so many times.
I'm running Mint, but regardless, I mean, it's still same shit.
Yeah, it's yeah, like pretty much every distro I've ran does that at some point or another.
Yep.
Ubuntu just seemed to be like the Debian-based ones just seem to do it more often.
Well, yeah, because the Debian ones, they expected you to be more computer knowledgeable. Because it's literal, like, Debian is a lot more difficult than running just a regular Linux Mint or
Oh, hell yeah.
anything else. I mean, like, besides Red Hat, holy shit, Red Hat, that's like full, it used to be like full on commands.
I still run Cent a lot, and like yeah, it's still pretty ugly, but man, it's stable as hell.
Run it for servers, Sleepy, but not for desktop environments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
fuck.
they just killed Cent. Cent 8's gonna be the last one, so I went back to Fedora for my dev box, just because I don't have to install as much crap and compile as much crap to work on software.
Fair enough.
Fedora.
It works. It's all right. It gives me an opportunity to test out some newer stuff because all the other distros are like so many versions back on everything.
I just hate to say it but it becomes like the Debian versions, Debian-based operating system just becomes so much more commercialized now that if you have like certain software you really want, and you usually find like a .deb package for it. So
Yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just rolling my own LFS distro again. Just I'm over all this.
At least it's not Arch Linux, because that was a pain in the ass to even get to install.
I loved Arch, but I came from BSD, so like it was like pretty natural for me. But yeah, it's certainly not a very friendly version.
I mean, even installing it was a pain in the ass. It's like you had to like completely manually partition all your
Yeah, if
hard drive, everything.
Manjaro is based on that, and it's a lot better than just straight Arch.
Yeah, I like that one too. That one in Mint.
Yeah, they're both pretty solid. Like if I have to use a Debian desktop one, Mint's definitely a good choice.
You guys discuss the situation with U.S. and China in the South China Sea?
No, but we can.
Well, the U.S. decided it was going to sail a freedom of navigation. We talked about this last week, how the U.S. said that they were going to sail a U.S. freedom of navigation through the South China Sea and surrounding islands. And they did it, and China's pissed. Again, I mean, it's just like from presidency to presidency, just continuing the warmongering agenda of the last administration. You know, the last administration was playing games with China, and then now this administration's playing games with China.
I thought we were supposed to have some harm reduction. I mean, where's the harm reduction? I haven't seen nothing of that.
Well, it's what I call that kinder, gentler Democrat machine gun hand. It's different.
A machine gun with a smile.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were both or they are both fascist in their own special ways. It's just Trump does it in the open and Biden does it in secret. And Biden's a lot more dangerous than Trump is because of that. And, the media is not going to pay attention to him, whereas they would pay attention to things that Trump does. So, either way, we're fucked.
Yay. My guess is we're going to be in at least 2 more wars in the next year or two. That's my guess.
Yay.
2 wars? Fuck. If we went to war with China, we would not be able to handle that war, number one. And then number two, if we go into another war with, say, Iran or Russia,
Bye.
Yeah, we're kind of fucked. Bye-bye,
Fighting
US.
sticks.
Hey guys, we got 10 minutes left.
All right, I came in late.
Yeah.
God damn, that feels early.
Yeah, it's early.
Quick.
When Mark streams, he streams until 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Yeah, I never care already.
Early on his time.
March 17th and 18th, Clovers for Assange, Washington, D.C., and everywhere else you want to hold an event to stand in solidarity, demand the freedom of Julian Assange, and more broadly, to stand for the future of investigative journalism and activism and our ability to know and understand what our government and our business leaders do in our names and to us and with our money and for our money.
By business leader, is that your way of calling them lobbyists?
Yeah, or oligarchs in general, the fucking
Rich old bastards.
I like it.
Those were senators.
Yeah.
Have you seen Congress lately? They don't look all that young, mostly.
Yeah, again, rich old bastards. Well, I guess not all of them are rich, but at least old bastards.
Most of them are pretty well off.
Oh,
Ro
yeah.
Khanna is like the second or third richest congressman, and he's worth $500 million.
Yeah, Rokon is a certified punk ass.
It's true. I've seen a meme that says that.
Yeah, I made that meme.
Shh.
I want to say that I think Democrats are actually wealthier than Republicans. Just like
they
their
are
donors are bigger.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I've
have
read
no
something
doubt.
about that. Like by a big margin. Like the Democrats are way richer than the Republicans in office. It's crazy.
That's because
In
they all line their
1986.
pockets. They all line their pockets
In
with
nine-
that lobby money.
In 1986, the Democratic Leadership Council formed with one united purpose, and that was to never, ever, ever lose because they didn't have the support of big business ever again. That's where the whole third way came out of. That's the brand of neoliberalism that the Clintons are famous for bringing to Washington, D.C. And boy, did they fucking nail that one.
I mean,
Like,
I
they-
wouldn't
they
consider the Clintons to be neoliberals. I would use the word evil.
No, I mean, it didn't. Well, sure. I mean, in terms of like marketing, the brand of neoliberal.
Well, still evil. Evil is a great term for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they even reinvented evil to make it work.
Yeah, you're not lying there.
Hillary Clinton's got to be. I mean, she's been looking for the White House since she was a teenager, man. And when she lost to Trump, I mean that just it had to crush her soul.
Good.
Crush her soul. You think that she has a soul?
There is that. She sold that shit years ago.
That's why
That
I
shit
added
was
that
so-
real quick. What was left of it?
Darcy Baker in the chat. It's not Clinton. It's Arkansided.
Yeah.
Get that Arkanside. It's the double tap to the back of the head when it's ruled as a suicide.
Pants around her ankles.
Well, you see, hopefully the Clintons can have multiple staff people and lawyers just fall out of a window or fucking die randomly or 2 shots to the head. I mean,
that body count is impressive.
Wash up on a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, robbed and nothing's taken. That's their
right.
I tell you what, actually, they are impressive in the ways that they've decided to kill a bunch of people, that's for sure. And then nobody can prosecute them.
Because they own the FBI. FBI Filegate under Bill Clinton. What did they do? They took all the files on all the FBI agents, dug up all the dirt that they could at the time of the they were junior FBI agents. Now they're senior FBI agents and people who are high up in the FBI. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, but digging up dirt and blackmail, that's the American way now.
No. It's the Clinton way.
Nah, that's really American at this point, I think. I mean, you've got people snitching out their neighbors for like not wearing a fucking mask. Like, I mean,
You have to double mask now.
it's going to be like 10 masks in like a couple months.
Just put a
They're going to
plastic
be like,
bag over
just
your
put
head.
this plastic bag over your head and it'll be fine.
I saw.
You're gonna be like sitting in the airport in Southwest. It's just gonna be like, due to new CDC regulations, a simple cloth mask doesn't work anymore. So come up to the help desk and you'll receive a free hazmat suit.
Yeah, free hazmat suit. Okay.
Ryanair had a jab and go program that they had to back away from because people get so pissed off.
Well, they're already bringing people from other countries in shipping containers. They'll just turn them into condos and wall them off and, get in your little cabin and they'll ship you somewhere.
Oh, that's always been that's been common. Like that's not. I mean, people have always used containers and fucking trains to hitchhike away in anywhere. So I saw one of the most disturbing and disgusting videos, but I think you guys will get a kick out of it. So basically, this woman was walking her dog, right? And she had a mask on, and the dog took a shit on the lawn. And she took the mask off to pick up the shit.
I saw that.
And then put it back on her
Oh
face.
yeah.
I saw that.
What?
Oh my god.
I
Yeah.
saw that.
Okay, I know who that is. It's Mia Khalifa. She's a porn star. I know her well.
Oh yeah, Mia.
Of course.
Mia.
The brown nose.
Yeah, you don't remember Mia? You don't remember Mia Khalifa? How she did the hijab porn and ISIS sent her a death threat, and then she stopped doing porn.
Wow.
You didn't know about
I mean,
that? Okay.
that's pretty brazen.
Anyway, we got 2 minutes, guys. But it was pretty. It was actually quite. I think they were legit death threats, to be honest.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people working up ISIS got a lot of death threats. I mean, was what it was.
Okay.
Not like they ever did anything.
No, I thought that OPI was like fully U.S. military compromised. So
Now she's married to like some I forget, some famous guy. I forget who it is.
How does he feel about kissing her after fucking that? Ugh!
Well, she doesn't do porn anymore.
Right, but she put the dog shit mask back on her face.
If it really was her.
Like,
It's Mia Khalifa.
I mean, if you're gonna draw a line somewhere, it's possible that 8 dicks in your mouth might be it, but dog shit, it's, you know, also gross.
Ugh.
Well, I have enjoyed her Middle Eastern themed pornos. I will say that. I mean,
All right, guys.
That is the third least surprising thing I heard today.
She's
It's
actually
fucking
Lebanese.
hilarious, though,
She-
man.
yeah.
That's fucking funny shit, dude.
Hey, we talk about some rough shit. We need some humor sometimes.
It's true.
All right.
We do.
Anybody want to put in their last 2 cents? We got a minute left.
after I get
Here's
Alamo,
Robinson Sunday.
make sure you spay and neuter all politicians.
That's what I want.
And lobbyists. Do not forget the lobbyists. They're the most, or not the most important part, but they are important. That's for sure. What? I mean, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Without the lobbyists, we would not have half of these horrible fucking laws.
All right, keep an eye on Mark's Twitter. Once I have some stuff up, I'll have him start putting out the sites and stuff.
Roger that.
Big up, Sleepy.
All right, we'll roll out with the credits. Ba-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Duh.
Declare this to be an unlawful assembly.